Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 107. Did I say it right? Are you happy? You don't like when I say 107.
That's weird.
107.
Yeah.
I'm back in the basement, escaping a heat wave in southern Ontario. We're actually on a legit heat warning for today and tomorrow. It's supposed to exceed 40 degrees, which for my Fahrenheit friends is something over 100, right? I don't know. It's supposed to be crazy hot. Our plans canceled. I thought we were going to be rushed down here as my parents and niece were supposed to be coming up for a visit and a swim, but my mom, your grandmother, not feeling well. So canceled. We've picked up a full day of gorgeous sunshine, so we're going to knock this podcast off and I'm going to go lie in the sun, much like we did yesterday. Right? What did we do yesterday? Join into this
Too much stuff.
Too much stuff for you? Friends of ours, right? Neighbors down the street that we hang out with a lot in the summer, rented cabins. I don't know if that's the right term, but anyways, at a little lakefront resort. So we went and visited them for the day. It was scorching hot yesterday too. Did anyone get a sunburn, Jack?
I don't think so.
The one dad, because we went on a lengthy kayak, he got very, very burned, and we didn't really notice until we saw the lines on his legs, right, from where his shorts were, where it's clearly like bright red and white. Even my colorblind eyes could see that he was going to be suffering. So I don't know how
he's looking like today.
Right. And then you got to go on. They took like a big inflatable, what were they called? Party Island.
Yeah.
So you jumped on that and floated around for a bit. And yeah, we saw a large turtle. Did you see the turtle?
No. Well, Nate showed me the picture.
I was like, when they said, hey, look, a turtle, I was expecting like a little.
Yeah, that's what I would have
like
expected.
the size of my hand. But it was a huge, like, size of a toilet seat turtle. It was quite surprising. But I don't know. What else have you been up to these days? Not a lot.
Still watching Star Wars.
Still watching Star Wars. You finished your goal of, what was it, Clone Wars you were watching?
I finished Clone Wars. I finished Revenge of the Sith, and I'm on the last episode of Bad Batch.
Nice. Crushing it.
Yes.
And I don't know, I haven't been doing too much. Nothing new for me, just kind of.
That's the most eventful thing I've been doing.
That's a pretty lazy summer for you. Must be nice. Get a job. This job has not materialized, people. We're still waiting.
No.
But we'll see. We may expand the search soon, I feel like.
I need to monetize this.
Monetize this? Well, then you need to get promoting it on your Instagram and get more people listening and monetize away. I don't want any money from it. I'm just doing it for fun. But if you want money, then you got to make it blow up, as the kids say. Get on that.
I'm just kidding.
You're just kidding? Well, at some point, if enough people listen, although we picked a pretty niche topic to try
It'll be a while.
Monetize. But anyways, so I don't know. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? In our bantering section?
I don't think so.
That's it? You're bantered out? So I guess we could give them the format update. So we've sort of been talking about switching things up a little bit. So we're still going to cover AEW Dynamite in detail every week, right? Like that's kind of our thing that we really enjoy doing. So we're going to keep doing that. I think other than that for now, since there's no show we specifically want to watch every week, we're going to have a new segment kind of that we're going to call, what was it? Highspots and Restholds, right?
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like, what did you watch this week? What did you like? So for example, sometimes I don't watch entire shows, so I don't want to review the whole show, but I'll see some things I like or don't like from. For example, this past week, I watched Ric Flair's last match, that pay-per-view. I didn't watch that match. I refused to watch that match. But I did watch probably like 3/4 of the pay-per-view and liked some stuff and didn't. So obviously, high spots will be things we liked and rest holds will be things we didn't like or whatever. So I think we're going to try that. It sort of allows us to, and I'm trying to help you out too, because you're more of a consuming wrestling in chunks, I guess, and whereas I'll sit down and watch an entire thing. Usually you're kind of like, this came across my social media, I saw that. So I'm trying to make it more inclusive of your style of watching wrestling, because it's interesting, right? As a 40 whatever year old man that I am, I still consume, I'll sit down and watch a show, but you're like young and you guys,
unfortunately most of it is main roster,
right? And you guys watch whatever you see, right? Bits and bites here and there. So I want to try and get these segments so that the way you watch things can still be, we can still deal with it, right? So if you only saw,
deal with it.
But like if you only saw 2 things from SmackDown, because that's what came across your feed and they were good, then you can talk about them, right? So it opens it up to sort of sample across a more breadth of wrestling, I think. So I don't know, we're going to try it. Let us know, listeners, if you like it. So that'll be, today we're going to still cover SummerSlam in detail. because it happened, AEW Dynamite in detail because we always do, and then we'll probably hit you guys with the Highspots and Restholds, which I'm still forgetting the name of.
AEW is like the only thing we've always done.
Right, so we'll always stick with that. I mean, in a perfect world, right, we were talking about it, like NXT would suddenly be really good again and we'd want to watch it every week. That would be the dream.
That's the hope.
So yeah, we can hope for that. But news will still be there, trivia will still be there, figuring it out will still be there. We're just sort of switching the any other wrestling business to something a little bit different. Okay, so I don't know. I think that's fair warning for everybody. Please, we'd love to hear feedback on anything we do, whether it's a new format, old format, suggestions, praise, recommendations, whatever. fnswrestling@gmail.com or FNS_wrestling_podcast on Instagram. The Gmail comes to me if you want to talk to the older of this team, and the Instagram goes to that guy over there, the young teenager, the young man sitting there. You can talk to him. I promise a reply on Gmail. I don't do promise a reply on Instagram.
Mostly. I mostly promise.
It's just a busy life.
I promise.
You promise. Right. So I don't know. I guess we should get things started. So let's take our first segment of every show where we talk about some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. So let's look at the ratings for this week. NXT averaged 649,000 viewers, which is up 8%, earned 8.15 in the key demographic, up 15%. So it seems like they rode the wave of a successful WWE Raw and WWE Summerslam as sort of, I think there's some intrigue, right, with Vince out and Triple H taking over. I think there's a little bit of hope that NXT might, and it was in my news last week, right, it may revert back to looking a bit more like the black and gold that we loved so much, so maybe people were checking out. And like I said, our goal would be that this show gets so good we want to watch it every week and talk about it specifically, right? For now, I mean, I'll still watch it and throw some things in Highspots and Restholds probably. I don't know if I'll watch it every week, but I usually tune into a bit of it, so we'll see. But a pretty good week for NXT ratings-wise, sort of riding the successful wave of some key announcements and changes in personnel, obviously. So this week's episode of AEW Dynamite averaged 938,000 viewers, which is down slightly 4%, earned a .32 in the demographic, also down 4%. All that being considered, it did stay number one in the cable originals for Wednesday night, which is something that the show does consistently. So because wrestling still pulls massive ratings, I was listening to a wrestling sort of economics show because that's the level of nerd that I am. And they were talking about AEW is likely due for a huge increase in their TV contract whenever it comes up, because
I was for them and WWE.
Oh, for both, right? Because right now there is very little content that people will tune into live on television anymore.
Yeah.
Live sports, obviously, and then wrestling is the one thing that there is no off season, right? So that is a program you can have that's on every week on whatever day you have it on, and it's going to be year round, and it draws numbers. Whatever people make fun of wrestling fans and mock us and whatever, it is a highly sought after product for TV stations. So it looks like Dynamite is pulling in consistently like 900,000, a million viewers. So they're going to be looking at making some more money next time around, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have for news? I've got like 3 or 4 things.
So first one is Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory pay-per-view will apparently clash with live AEW Rampage taping because it's set for October 7th, Friday, which is when they're going to do a live Rampage, which they don't usually do, and that's because that'll be a live Rampage, and then they'll be taping the 4th Battle of the Belts.
Oh, interesting.
So that'll go head-to-head with Bound for Glory, so that's interesting.
And isn't there an NXT pay-per-view that's on the same day as...
That's All Out.
Right.
I think it's...
Going to be in the afternoon, I would assume. I don't think there's any way they'd go head-to-head, would they?
Well, I forget which one it is, though.
I think it'll be in the afternoon. That would be my guess, which is cool.
Do you remember what it's called?
I don't remember. You can look that up if you want
to.
I know. One of us should know, probably. We do a weekly wrestling podcast, I think.
I don't
Only
know.
for 107 weeks, so how could we know things, right? Becky Lynch, we'll talk about SummerSlam. I did not know she injured herself, like, significantly, right? Like, separated her shoulder in her match with Bianca Belair.
I had no clue.
But finished the match. Not to spoil a review, I love the match.
A SummerSlam constant. That's what Balor did.
Exactly. So very similar idea. His I could kind of tell though. Hers I had no idea.
No idea. He kind of like popped it back in or whatever.
Right, he did. So she's expected to be out for several months, but I think I mean, you obviously don't ever want someone to be hurt, but she did just make a turn to babyface.
So it kind of works out
right,
in a way,
because when she comes back, and
which they made that mistake last time.
not to spoil our chat in a few minutes, I won't get specific, but there are now a new significant heels
Roster additions.
arriving, right? So when she comes back as a babyface,
Don't worry, folks. Not toxic attraction.
it's gonna no, not yet. It's gonna be a big deal when she returns. So
Yeah.
hate to see her hurt, but the division looks pretty strong right now and can sort of hold without her. And then when she returns, it'll be a huge deal, I would imagine. So hopefully she heals well and comes back ready to go. What you got?
And maybe she could come back to the women's tag titles, because
Right.
those are going to come back. A tournament will start on Raw after the titles have been being vacant for 3 months.
Right. So I guess we're not giving up on that division, which would be my preference, right? Is you just don't.
They did just get some addition, but like even then, I don't think it helps like a ton.
Right, and you just don't have women tag teams. They don't really exist.
You maybe have one.
You're gonna end up cobbling together
Sky Kai.
a division, right? So, anyways, we'll see what happens.
That's it for me.
Wrestling. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a few.
I don't have a lot.
Wrestling News Co. reported that there's an agreement, and this is sort of reported other places now too, has been reached for both Sasha Banks and Naomi to return to the company. It has been confirmed by other sources, and it sure seems like Vince was a huge part of the problem here, right? Like, what a shock. As soon as he's gone, basically now they're reaching out to them to bring them back. So I don't think they wanted to lose Sasha Banks specifically, as she is a pretty big draw and would help out a struggling AEW women's division. So I think they're smart to keep her. And honestly, it's a very, very stacked division, right? If you think now about the women's division in main roster WWE, like, look at how stacked that is. All the talented women there, right? You've got Belair, Lynch. You can include Charlotte. We don't like her, but she's not bad in the ring,
Talented.
right? Bailey, Io Shirai,
Baszler.
Dakota Kai, Shayna Baszler. Like, this is an
Raquel?
Sure, Gonzalez. Even like mid-carders, you've got like Carmella, right? She's useful. I would suggest Liv Morgan's is a mid-carder, but people won't like to hear that. But so I feel like that division is like super stacked, right? If they and I have more faith now that it will actually be dealt with properly with Triple H there. So I'm kind of like the women's division, especially because it's not good in AEW. That might be the thing that pulls me back to main roster first, to be honest. Is the fact that if their women's division is booked really well, because I'm not getting that on the show I much prefer, right? I'm not getting that on Dynamite.
Generally.
So if that's what they're going to give me, that's kind of filling a void and might draw me in. So anyways, it's possible. And another signing, this one from AEW. Apparently, according to Fightful Select, AEW has reached an agreement with Blake Christian. And specifically, it looks like that agreement is tied to Ring of Honor. So Blake Christian was in NXT as... I forget his name already.
Trey Baxter.
He's an indie star, right? Really pretty strong in-ring performer. I find there's a bit of a lack of charisma and character there, but really strong in-ring, kind of cruiserweight-sized guy. We'll see where that goes.
He was on the pre-show, so.
Yes. Speaking of AEW signing people, they announced on Wednesday that Madison Rayne has joined the company as a coach in the women's division.
She already has defeated the famed Layla Gray.
Oh no, that's impossible.
I know.
Can't be true.
And I think she'll be TBS Open challenging against Cargill next week.
Of course she will.
Yeah.
So her hiring was announced as part of a list of promotions, sort of expanding AEW's talent relations department. So Sanjay Dutt, QT Marshall were promoted to vice presidents of show and creative coordination, and Tony Schiavone was promoted to senior producer and special talent advisor, to talent. So yeah, just an addition there in the sort of backstage role as well, but it looks like she's already been in ring too, right? So I don't know if she'll help or not. But
I mean, hopefully a coach helps some people out.
Right. I think it's undeniable that the division needs help, right? So if she can provide some help. I think
they also need more creative help, but
100%.
A coach is the start.
Right. I agree.
Something.
So. For me, it's probably more of the creative.
Yeah, I agree, but that's something at least.
I agree. And then I think my final one, I just thought this was interesting. Pat McAfee, being the shill for WWE that he is, says, quote, "They drug test rather often at the WWE. Yes, they actually do now. There are always going to be people that talk about some people maybe aren't getting tested. There's always conspiracy theories about everything. but I've been tested and given my blood to the WWE numerous times. Now, I'm a skeptic of a lot of things, especially when a company guy like McAfee says stuff like this. So first of all, let's take a look at the word. He uses the word numerous times. So, right, that's a bit of a weasel word for me because numerous could mean what? 2, right? 2 is technically numerous. So
anything more than one.
right. So
Literally anything more.
And
than
now
one.
he's been with the company for how many years? 2 or
I'd
3?
say since his first match would have been like.
Oh yeah,
his first match was 2020 against Adam Cole, so like at least before that. So at least like a couple years.
And second of all, my question is, so you've been tested, quote, numerous times. Do they test everyone with the same frequency?
And who's to say like he hasn't been tested like once a year or like only 2 times?
And frankly, I'm not trying to be rude. McAfee does not have the physique of somebody who's abusing performance-enhancing substances, right?
No.
So my question is, and this is why I asked you.
He's not roiding.
Remember, I randomly asked you, who's a super jack guy on the roster? Because so like, are they testing Jinder Mahal, Bobby Lashley, and like Madcap Moss as frequently as they're testing Pat McAfee? Because my thing is, sure, they have the testing, but do they?
It depends who they're using.
How do they apply it?
Right?
Are they applying it to guys they're fairly confident have no substance issues and avoiding the ones that they're concerned about? Right, to be able to say
we're testing, it's fine.
Right, and we're not finding anything. Right, our guys are clean. So more skeptical of that when Vince is in charge, but I mean, I don't think that much would have changed at this point. So I question McAfee just because he's a pretty media savvy guy, right? So he knows what to say. But if you really break that down, I wonder if he's saying much.
Like kind of loopholing a bit.
Right. So that looks like it's going to be the end of our news and rumors for the week. So this week we are going to start off, because it happened first a week ago today. We are going to discuss in depth this year's edition of WWE Summerslam. All right, so this year's SummerSlam, I was sort of interested to watch it to see if anything changes, right, under the Triple H regime, I guess.
Yeah, you were at what was it? What you guys were doing something? Was that the? No.
It was the bike wine tour.
That was okay. I didn't know if that was that.
Interesting combination of things. Yeah.
Anyways, so you guys, so we started late, and so I got spoiled. So I was pretty excited to start it at least.
Yeah, you were texting me like, "We got something good actually happened. We should get started on this." So we did. My first note is actually the super long entrance ramp. Right, it was back.
Oh yeah, it's like classic like. So obviously you got the stadium show against the classic like really long, and then it's got like a bit of a curve, and then it's going to the ring. Like they've done this for like SummerSlam this year and last year, and they've done it for Royal Rumble the past few years, barring 2021 Thunderdome.
Yeah, right. And it actually makes things feel kind of grand, right? Like
it is cool, yeah. Like, and I also kind of like that, like, even despite being stadium, because I feel like the first 2 times they did a Stadium Rumble, it had the same stage. I remember what it looked like. But now, like, I feel like SummerSlam last year had a different stadium look. Because obviously they're kind of like, not smaller, but they do different because there's fans behind the stage this time, right? Which also, what a crappy spot to be in.
Right.
But there's people there. So I've noticed, like, they even, like, do slightly different stages. Like, the Royal Rumble stage this year was actually quite different. Like, and maybe it depends on different stadiums,
I guess
too.
so.
But, like, not only is, like, I agree, I do like the change of stadium, which I kind of wish Money in the Bank was still a stadium show, but whatever.
Yeah, that's
they also
cool.
do kind of change the stages a bit, so it's cool. It did create like a long, especially like for the
when there's run-ins and stuff.
Yeah,
it like takes them a month to get there.
It's still cool.
Yeah, it was cool. So apparently the building was not full, but they packed it to make it look full on the.
It definitely looked full.
Right. And I don't know if you noticed, but the attendance kept growing. I think it started at 40,000, and then when
was it like 43 or 44 or something when
Dirtbag Kane came out, he it went up to like 45.
Because they're in Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
So that's his place.
Yeah. So the opening match on this show is, I guess, a little bit of a surprise. I don't know. It's the Raw Women's Championship. It is Bianca Belair defending her title against Becky Lynch, who again, at some point in this match, she separates her shoulder that I had no idea.
I feel like they had another good opener recently, or just WWE did.
Well, yeah, didn't we love Reigns Rollins was an opener, was it not?
that would technically happen.
And we love that match.
I was thinking
That's
like
my example for when people think we are super critical of main roster. Like, we want to love all
I
wrestling.
love that. I absolutely
It's
love
not
it.
like we are like hoping to hate wrestling, right? Like,
Right.
I would rather watch a show I like, and so that is my example of when it's
Yeah,
good,
and I
we
thought that
say
was
it's good.
genius until they screwed it up. But
Right.
I feel like there was something recent, or maybe I'm just thinking
There
the
probably was.
Usos Street Profits.
That
That
was
wasn't an
awesome too.
opener, but
No.
I remember liking that. So maybe I'm just thinking that. But
So early on in this match,
wait, sorry.
It's okay.
You like the Hell in a Cell opener, which was these two and Asuka.
I did really like that match.
Maybe
You're
it's that. That's what I'm thinking of.
right. Lynch works Belair's arm early, her left arm, and then we get Belair with the acrobatics and the power display as she is capable of.
She had like the kind of like, it was kind of like a country look with like tassels. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause they're in like
Right.
Music City or whatever.
That's right. We sort of get a KOD countered on the barricade. I thought
It looked like she no-sold.
it looked like Lynch just no-sold it, right? But I
It
think
felt like it was intended to be like she kind of like rolled over the barricade or something like that.
I think it was supposed to be like she snapped Belair's arm or whatever over the barricade, but I don't, because she'd been working the arm already, right? So to me, it ended up looking like she just no-sold.
Yeah.
But
No,
anyways, that's okay.
you rewound it, and I was like, oh yeah, it does look like that.
Right.
It was kind of funny.
Belair counters a leg drop in the ropes with a power bomb. We get a hair sort of tug of war.
You had to rewind that too.
Yes, and Lynch is pulled into the ring post and then hit with a suplex on the floor. Belair rolls through a cross body, picks up Belair, but her shoulder gives out, so again, she's back to selling that arm. Lynch hits Diamond Dust for a near fall, which I don't even remember what that is, but that's what commentary called it. What is Diamond Dust?
So Belair's on the middle rope, right? And she's got like Lynch in like an inverted DDT kind of spot, and then she just like flips over.
Oh.
And she did a stunner version, but I think it's supposed to be a face twist. I remember that's a Stardust move, folks.
Oh, that's why it's Diamond Dust. That makes sense.
Exactly. Or Goldust might have done it, but I remember like a little while ago I was playing as Stardust in 2K16, and he had Diamond Dust as like one of his special moves.
I had forgotten that it was one of his. The KOD is countered into a disarmer, but Belair gets to the ropes. We do get a KOD. It's out on the floor, and Becky Lynch.
That was kind of cool. There's a decent thud there.
Yeah, she just beats the count, getting back in. And I kind of thought Belair's facial expressions here were really good. It was kind of like she was really selling that she didn't really want to win that way as a babyface, right? She was kind of hoping that Lynch was going to beat the count, which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Lynch gets caught, hit with a spine buster. Belair gets pulled off the ropes, hit with the manhandle slam for a pretty believable near fall. The manhandle slam.
Right, they keep telling us like that's what happened last year, right?
Just hit it and it was over.
Mm-hmm.
So we get the manhandle slam from the ropes, but it's countered with a Spanish fly by Belair.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
That was cool.
I don't.
She's so athletic, man.
Yeah,
it's
like
crazy.
I don't remember her doing that, and I honestly like that's not a thing like you typically see the women do. So that was
everything.
Cool.
Like
yeah, that actually kind of got a bit of shock for me.
Her combination of like power, speed, everything is. Like she's the one from NXT that couldn't miss, right? And they haven't screwed it up. Like she was the one that I was saying even from when
I
she
remember.
was pretty
just, like,
green.
Even though she was like
she's
kind of unpolished, but like I remember like
she's great.
Yeah, you liked her a lot. Like when she was first.
She follows up with the KOD, pins Becky Lynch clean to retain her title after about 15 minutes.
Only 15, really.
They sort of shake hands and show respect after the match. This is the sort of beginning of a Becky Lynch face turn, I believe, here. And then, surprisingly enough, Bayley returns and walks out. So already that is pretty cool. Bayley's awesome. It's great.
Yeah, there was murmurings of that. So that was like, it was still surprising, but that was cool.
And then even more surprising is Dakota Kai recently released. And
yeah, she got released in like April, which was really surprising.
Re-signed Dakota Kai, one of the favorites of the FNS Wrestling podcast. Always been a big fan of her. Thought she's been underused and underappreciated. I think Triple H agrees. So Dakota Kai comes out, shocking. And then we get even, I think the tag under her name as she first came out said Io Shirai.
It did. The Tron said Io Shirai. Commentary even said Io Shirai won.
So Io Shirai, who for points of her run in NXT, I was saying she was my favorite wrestler of any gender at that time.
Yeah, she was gold in like
unbelievable.
Prime Pandemic. She was
amazing.
Gold, yeah.
Amazing. So needless to say, I am super excited about this stable, whatever it is. I think this is amazing.
Did you say her new name yet?
Sorry, Io Sky, right?
All caps.
All caps.
That's
yes.
You must spell it all caps.
Stylized in caps.
Which I don't love that, and also Io is EYO now, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not the most
It
offensive.
isn't.
And
It
she kept
really
her
isn't.
theme, which I do enjoy her theme.
So instead of
So that's okay.
Io Shirai, Genius of the Sky, she's now Io Sky.
It's
So
okay.
It's among the name changes. It is not that offensive.
Yeah, it's not that bad, and I'm happy Dakota Kai is pretty unchanged.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not true. I mean, reverted back, I should say, after her weird NXT phase.
Yes,
2.0.
where she was the
That's
moody
good.
loner.
She still kept her theme, which I'm really happy because I really enjoy her theme as well.
So this was just a super exciting start to the show for me. This is kind of I don't think
I was like, I think that was like goosebumps. Like I was pretty thrilled to say the least.
There's
like,
no doubt here that Triple H went, I need to make a mark on this show.
Yeah.
And even if this is the only thing I do,
which
that's really...
I thought that there was gonna be something else, granted, but it was still fantastic.
So I thought this match, first of all, was excellent. This is going to be a very hot take, and people are going to hate it. This was my match of the night.
Yeah, yeah.
I know people are
Peaked early
bananas
again.
for the finisher, or for the main event. But
No.
I love this match.
I would have to agree. Just like kind of think about it already. Like like I said, I don't remember. I don't remember liking anything more.
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
Say, right.
So this just a really steady pace with no lulls. We got good physicality, a couple cool cool spots along the way, and a finishing sequence that I thought was really good.
Yeah.
I'm just happy Belair's looking so strong in her title run.
Right, because remember even before they screwed the whole thing with the really short match last year, we were saying like her SmackDown run was kind of lacking.
Yes.
So I think it's kind of cool they've set it back the right way this time.
I agree.
It's going quite well, I'd say, other than some Carmella matches.
I think the first time it was like, let's see what she's like as a champion, and now they understand, right? Like she's really good on the mic.
Maybe more potential with it now with Triple H at the helm.
Yes, for sure.
So that's also good.
And with Bayley, Kai, and Io showing up,
that's really cool.
It made this feel really important, right? And made it kind of feel like, listen, new and exciting stuff could happen, so you should probably watch.
Right. Yeah.
That's a huge selling point for me, right?
I think it's really cool that Bayley's back. So, it's been a really long time since. And I think the last match she had was against Belair. Like I think Belair's first title feud was Bayley, and I think that's the last time we saw Bayley. So that's kind of cool. And then I'm super happy to see Dakota and Io back.
Me too.
It's cool because Io is kind of missing a bit.
I heard Bayley wanted people who are, she thinks, obviously super talented and underused, but also haven't had a main roster and specifically a WrestleMania moment. So she wants to elevate people to get them to Mania to have their moment, which is super cool. To instead of like being a veteran and holding people back because of your spot. She's like, I want to help people get there.
It's a bit of a weird association, but I think it's a really cool group.
I'm super interested.
Yeah.
Like it's single-handedly, this is giving me some hope for main roster, right? And again, this is a division that's lacking in their competition. So it's super smart to try and make this hot and pull people back. Because I'm one of those people.
We'll talk about it later. There's also other things going on in the women's division that I'm also particularly happy about.
That's right.
And like some other things that we'll talk about later. Like Triple H is definitely starting to make a mark already, which is fantastic.
Yeah, he was like, I'm making a mark on the first match of my first show, basically, right? This is him doing something big. So yeah, we now have in my opinion, a super cool heel faction. It immediately freshens up the women's division and adds 3 women who are all pretty great in the ring, right? And there's no weaknesses there. So yeah, Triple H's presence is already felt. 2 of these 3 women were standouts in NXT, right? When Triple H was there. So this is why he knows what he's getting here, right? So I thought this was an awesome match and an awesome sort of after match segment. I loved all of this.
I really liked
this. This overall helps the grade of SummerSlam because I was super into this, the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I already saw it happen. I was like losing my crap, but it got me to watch. Like it was super exciting. I think the match was really great. And I guess we get Bayley versus Belair again, which is really awesome.
Yeah,
we already had Io versus Belair, which is really cool.
Yep.
See Dakota Kai. Maybe you could like run back Dakota and Gonzalez at some point. Like I don't know. There's a lot you could do. It's really cool.
So many options for fresh matchups, and that is honestly my number one thing is that main roster has just gotten stale. Right? It's the same people having the same matches
automatically
4 or 5 weeks in a row. Yep. So awesome start to SummerSlam, not gonna lie.
And we both picked Belair.
Of course we did. So Logan Paul Miz summary package ahead of their match, which is Miz with Maurice and Tommaso Ciampa. Sorry, just Ciampa, I guess, now on main roster. Taking on YouTuber Logan Paul. So early on in this, not gonna lie, my expectations were pretty low for this one. So Miz out wrestles Logan Paul early. Then Paul gets to show off some of his, I hate to say it, but undeniable athleticism and some boxing skills as well. Paul hits a moonsault from the apron to the floor. Miz pulls Paul off the ropes into a code breaker. Of course, we get a Ciampa cheap shot along the way. That's what he's there for. Get a blockbuster by Paul. Both men are down. The ref is sort of counting them both out. We get a running power slam by Paul for a 2 count. A figure 4 applied by Paul. Ciampa eventually gets ejected from ringside, but he sits on a chair and refuses to go. And I just put, although it seems to be changing, my note at that time was sad to see him in this role. Maybe Triple H will do something about that. And he did, right? So
he did. Not just, we'll get there, but
Ciampa,
he did.
Ciampa, A, isn't a lackey, and B, in what universe is he associated with The Miz? If you've at all seen Ciampa in your life, this is like, he's the Blackheart. He's a loner, right? Like, the only person that can sort of tolerate him is Johnny Gargano, and everyone else can't work with Ciampa.
Oh, Thatcher.
Okay, Thatcher too.
That's
so
it.
this idea of like The Miz is the last dude that Ciampa would ever be associated with.
It's so weird.
So it's so dumb. But anyways, they seem to be on the way to fixing it. AJ Styles theme hits. He comes out and attacks Ciampa from the crowd. They fight through the crowd and are gone. We then get a phenomenal forearm by Logan Paul for a 2 count. Paul then clears off the announce table, climbs up top. This was actually pretty ridiculous. I don't think you could deny this. His top rope frog splash through the table.
I like the way the table broke.
Amazing. Like, it looked good. I know I don't want to like this kid either, but that move looked fantastic. Maurice distracts the ref so he can't make the count though. Miz almost hits Maurice with a chain. Paul hits a skull-crushing finale and pins the Miz with his own move, as kind of expected, right? I think we both picked this one.
Yeah, and
Pins
I
the
don't
Miz
know
in
what his
14
finisher
minutes.
actually is.
So did we both pick Logan Paul, first of all?
Probably. Just looking for it.
I think we did. So I can't stand this guy, right? I mean, you can go back and look at some of the stuff this guy has
I don't
done.
like him either.
Speaking of Logan Paul, apparently they're trying to say he's matured and blah, 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 and maybe he has. But I know lots of people who didn't do horrible things when they were young, so I'm going to prefer them to people who did. But anyways.
And also celebrity.
He was really impressive in this match, and I'm not super fond of saying that, but I'm always honest in my opinions on this show. He did not look like a guy that's new to this business. That being said, the whole him as a babyface is stupid.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where, like, he'll be like something he does, or like his face looks. He does not look like a babyface.
He couldn't be more of a natural heel. Right?
Yeah.
The money is him as a heel.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I guess it's because what he wanted. So to get him signed, they needed to do this. But he is not a babyface. Like, AJ supporting him feels weird. Right?
Yeah.
Like the whole, anyways, he's just really hateable.
He honestly felt like he should have been aligned with the Miz and not
100%,
and not facing, like, he should have been facing Ciampa. Like, I
just
don't know,
reverse
something
these
like
roles.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's super athletic. He's clearly picking things up really quickly. I was really impressed and thought that this was actually a pretty good match and a pretty great showing for Logan Paul. I don't want to say that. I would be way happier to come and say he was awful. It was terrible. They need to cut him. He looks good, man.
Celebrity.
The frog splash through the table was
was really cool.
A great spot. So that's going to be replayed a million times by WWE.
Yeah.
You're going to see that everywhere all the
A
time.
year ago today, remember the time Logan Paul
Yeah.
put Miz to the announce table?
It's got 17 million hits on social media. So I actually thought this was a pretty solid match. I don't know what you thought. I don't like saying that, but it's true.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like that. I'm not as because honestly, I don't want to like him, but it was honestly pretty good, all things considered. And again, I'm still not like looking to, like, I don't know, I just don't want celebrities around, but like I think he did pretty good. All things considered for a celebrity. That's still not what I'm here for, but
and he's young enough and athletic enough that he'll become good, right? It's not like they're bringing in some older
it's never
celebrity
not gonna feel
clearly
weird
for ratings.
for him to be around. And honestly, I wish it wasn't him, but he did really good here. Like just natural athleticism. Was good. The announce table spot was obviously the highlight. And yeah, he looked pretty good. I think Miz is also a good hand to have against.
Oh, for sure.
So credit should go to him as well.
For sure.
Like, I don't think that'll get talked about a lot.
No, you're right.
I think he did pretty good. Ciampa looks like an idiot in neon gear.
But hopefully that is over.
Yeah. But
Seems
I think this is pretty solid, all things considered. I think the opener was
over
much better,
delivered. I would say.
Yeah,
of course,
over delivered.
Yep.
Better the two celebrities.
Yep. We then get a Lesnar hype video. I'm not going into detail on any of the videos. And then we get a bizarre little segment here. Do you remember the Maximum Male Model photo shoot that happened here?
Yeah.
Maxine Dupree says that the guys need some water, right? And then we get their sponsors, water bottles.
And LA Knight back again.
Yes, he was. And then Mansoir and Massey, I feel dumb even saying that, pour water all over themselves while Max Dupree does a voiceover talking
What is it
about
like?
the
Titillate
water.
the whatever. You know they have a website.
Yeah, I heard they do.
Yeah.
The Maximum Male Models.
.com.
Yeah. So anyways, it was a stupid sponsorship
so-
spot.
Oh,
It was
To
awful.
titillate the juices of their guilty pleasures. There we go.
Nice.
You can apply.
No thanks. I remember I could have been a model.
Now you can realize your potential.
That's right. We get a Roman Reigns hype video, and there's just too much time in between matches, and it bugs me on all of their PLEs. Look at that. Got that right. Nailed it. But I think
that just still feels so wrong.
I think part of it is, right, as Canadian people, we still have the WWE network. So Americans are watching on Peacock, and I'm pretty sure there's commercials if you're using the free Peacock, whatever. So I think that might be why we get so
free
many.
Peacock?
We get many of these.
I thought you had to pay for it.
There's a free level, I think, or a basic level, and then the more you pay, the less commercials and annoyance you get, I think.
Oh, kind of like Spotify Premium.
I think so. So I think some of this might be where they put their commercials, but there's just a lot of filler between matches, it feels like, right, on these. And that was definitely one of them, was that water
Absolutely.
commercial.
Well, yeah, and then you have the packages specific to one person where it's clear like it is related to nothing.
Yes. Oh yeah. There's was there a McIntyre one or something, like someone who has no involvement on the show?
That like plagued Money in the Bank.
It did.
There was so many.
Like Kevin Owens thing. He's nowhere on the show.
Yeah, like we haven't seen him since like the Ezekiel match. What happened to Ezekiel? Not that I care.
No. We then get the U.S. Championship match, which right now is like the main championship on Raw, right?
Pretty much.
The only one there. So that is Theory taking on Bobby
USA
Lashley
should be happy
again.
with that, all right?
Yes.
They should not be. They should be appreciative for what they have.
So Theory's kind of funny during his entrance. I don't know if you saw this. He's trying to like pose and take a selfie, and he drops the Money in the Bank case, which I don't think he meant to do. But anyways, Theory attacks Lashley with the Money in the Bank briefcase before the bell. Makes sense. Heel move, taking on a much bigger baby face, so he needs that advantage, I guess. We get a rolling blockbuster by Theory early on. A dominator from Lashley. Theory escapes to the floor, teases leaving altogether with the briefcase. Lashley follows him out, sends him into the barricade a couple times. We get a rolling drop kick by Theory. This is my question. Why so many rolling moves? Like, we've already had 2 or 3 in the first few minutes of this by Theory. It's because one of those things, right? It doesn't add anything to anything.
Yeah, it's a bad finisher for Waller.
You look fluid or graceful or whatever, but it doesn't add any impact to anything. It's just a flourish, 100%.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you find the odd time where you need to dive through the ropes to hit it, that makes sense then. Anyways, flatliner by Lashley, strike exchange followed by a Lashley power slam. Theory leaps over a Lashley spear attempt, and Lashley ends up running himself into the ring post. We get another rolling move attempted by Theory, but Lashley counters it with the Hurt Lock, and this match is over after 6 whole minutes. So I don't know. I don't have a ton of. I feel like we just watched
that
this,
one's
right?
you.
That was me.
Yeah.
Nice. So this is just basically a dominant win for Lashley. I think kind of Vince is no longer around to look after Theory, right? So it feels like his booking has changed direction.
Theory is definitely failing.
It's just kind of like, I think it's just a correction, right? Like, you've been over pushed. This is Vince just deciding.
Theory is a main eventer, but not
now.
Not now.
Right.
No. It's either McIntyre, Rollins, not Cross.
Yeah.
God, not Cross.
So for me, this was a 6-minute pay-per-view match. So how good is it going to be, right? Like, it was
fine.
Whatever. It was there. And
I don't remember much.
It's the classic curse of winning the Money in the Bank, right? You win Money in the Bank, you lose until you
combined with your your dad. He's a Vince pet project.
Your surrogate father has been fired.
Your surrogate father.
Retired.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that match, I don't know, did not move the needle for me. It was just there, and we've seen it before. 6-minute, nothing really.
Yeah.
We then move on to a no disqualification match, which is the Mysterios, Papa Ray and son Dominic.
Papa Ray.
Taking on Judgment Day, which is Finn Balor and Damian Priest.
I
with
would like
their
to say...
enforcer, Rhea Ripley, in the China role as well with them.
Oh, yeah.
She is China, right? At this point?
Pretty much, yeah.
She's the one doing all the physicality, so...
Yeah, one thing to know is, like, they look so dumb in their entrance, like...
Who?
Judgment Day.
Oh, yeah.
It's so stupid. Like, they still have the heel theme Edge is using, and it's just like the most basic entrance. Like, they're just walking in the ring like I can't tell if they're like supposed to be like these like big heels, or they're supposed to be like goth or not, or like
It seems since like Edge left, they sort of have lost their way. They're
even
just
with
kind of
Edge,
like,
what was the direction?
yeah,
I
I don't
don't know. Like,
I don't know.
I don't know if they're supposed to be like these like bully heels, or if they're supposed to be like this goth crew. Because believe me, Priest and Ripley look freaking goth.
One of my questions is House of Black light anyone?
Yeah,
Question
like,
mark.
and what the hell with Balor? Balor, in what way does he fit the bill in?
He doesn't.
Maybe he does, but not the way
Not
they're
as
doing it.
described so far.
No, not, and it's like his ring gear is so stupid. I hate it. And like they just look so lame walking in the ring like slowly, like they're just devoid of any personality other
Yes.
than that they're just like bullies, and a couple of them look kind of goth. And
I do
emo,
kind of,
like,
the only interesting thing to me is that the woman is their muscle. I kind of like that.
yeah,
'Cause
that's
that's-
cool, but like, why not implement that in something that doesn't suck?
Right. So I think all of what you're saying solidifies my first point, which is I really have no interest in this match, was my first note on this, right? And it's just kind of for that reason. This group seems kind of directionless
To put
and
into
pointless.
perspective, they put the same match minus the no DQ stipulation on the Monday before, so on the go home show,
Right.
we saw this match,
Right. So we get
more
it
or
again.
less.
And this time, all four of them brawl to start. The heels get sent to the floor, and they look really dumb, waiting for Dominic to dive on them before Ray hits a moonsault.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, let's huddle together for a excruciatingly long time while this guy dives on us, right? Here's a specific Jack note. Jack is mad that both teams, and you're right, that's why I wrote it down, both teams are respecting the tag rules in a no DQ match.
Like,
Go ahead.
why is that there? As soon as you put a no DQ stipulation on there, it should be tornado tag. Because I think
Basically.
you could have tornado tag and there's still disqualifications, that's fine. But
Yeah.
like, once there's no rules, there should be no tagging. Like, what's the point of tagging?
And my note here is to support what you're saying. Like, so this dark sort of whatever heel
Whatever they
faction
are.
is following more rules than they have to.
Any heel faction. Why would any heel do that?
They're like, we don't
ever.
have to wait and tag in nicely, but we're going to, because why? I don't know. So you're right, it doesn't make
so
sense.
that we can allow a hot tag.
But I guess because it allows them to isolate Dominic and make frequent tags, which they do. We get
because you can't do that in any other match.
We get a broken arrow from Priest, followed by a slingshot stomp from Balor. We get an eventual Rey Mysterio hot tag. Balor introduces a chair, but Rey ends up using it on Priest.
Yeah, like for so much of this match, it's just like it's a normal tag match. I'm just like, what the hell? Like, there was almost no weapons for most of the match, and they're tagging.
And I think my favorite move is here, where Rey does his sliding out to the ring, and he did it with the chair. That looked pretty cool.
I remember he did that like years ago too, and I think he had the same reaction.
It looks cool. We get a Balor shotgun dropkick to Rey, but Balor ends up taking a Hurricane Rana off the top from Rey. Double 619 is stopped by Ripley, and she drops Dominic on the apron, leaving Rey all alone. Priest hits his South of Heaven. The lights go out. There's fire, and who could possibly care? Edge is back. With
oh my
a
god,
slightly different look, I guess.
He looks
short
so
hair.
stupid. He's basically just back to the rated R superstar thing.
That's right.
But with stupid short hair. Like, he looks like a dad trying to, like, he looks like a dad going through a midlife crisis, which maybe he is, because like he looks so ridiculous.
I didn't make a note of the crowd reaction because on WWE stuff there isn't a lot of point because they just pipe sounds in, right? But I personally didn't care. Like, I was like,
I didn't care. I was like, and honestly, like, he should have waited for his hair to grow back, because I think the short hair was a dumb choice, but it was only ever fitting for Judgment Day, and even then, I don't think it was necessary.
So Edge obviously spears Balor and Priest, making them, I thought, look like geeks here, right? Like, this old guy comes down and takes you both out, even though you can watch him coming down. Anyways, we get a double 619 to Finn Balor, a weak slingshot splash from Rey, and this one is mercifully...
Oh, yeah, it was weak. Like, he barely got over.
Right. This one is over after 11 minutes with the baby faces picking up the win. I don't know. This felt like a bland TV match to me. I didn't feel there was any heat to this. Even Edge returning doesn't do anything for me. I felt like things were starting to pick up, and then Edge interrupted, and pretty much it was over at that point, right? So
Yeah, it didn't really add anything to
It
me.
felt like filler to me, honestly. Like they needed a
Absolutely.
match on here. These guys have stuff going, put them on there, right? So
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of this one. We then get a Kevin Owens video package for some reason. Another one here, even though he's not on this show anywhere.
Where has he even been?
I don't know. We then get a Pat McAfee, Baron Corbin, what is he now?
Happy Corbin.
Happy Corbin video package.
Or bum-ass Corbin, depending on
Right.
your source.
As the choir. Oh my God, that was annoying. I don't even know if that's in my notes. Oh, my notes say McAfee's entrance was painful.
McAfee's entrance would suck. At least he didn't use Seven Nation Army again.
But they had a choir trying to get everyone to sing bum-ass Corbin, remember?
And then that played into his theme, too.
It was awful. So it is Pat McAfee taking on Happy Corbin. We get a super kick to Corbin right away, and McAfee is in control of this one. We get a Hurricane.
Not a Young Buck super kick. Nope.
No.
It was kind of lame.
Hurricane Rana off the top, and Corbin has to escape to the floor here. McAfee backflips off the ropes, lands on his feet, but gets hit by a Corbin shotgun dropkick. Get a deep 6 by Corbin for 2 that pretty much always... He has a pretty nice moveset, honestly, as much as I don't
Some of his like bigger moves, at the very least, I enjoy.
He'd be like a dude in a video game I would use because his stuff looks cool. Anyways, McAfee gets beeled onto the announce table at one point. McAfee does the thing where I have kind of leaps to the top rope for a superplex, right? But it wasn't exactly clean.
Got it. He botched it pretty bad here.
And then he's up on the top ropes, almost falls down, right? Like really struggles to maintain his balance, but hits.
You can see Corbin really Corbin he deserves a lot of credit here for like really helping him like keep afloat, you know?
Yep. So he hits a flipping senton to the floor onto Corbin. We get an inadvertent ref bump, a low blow kick by McAfee. So
there's your baby face.
I think the thing is, McAfee used to do the Panama Sunrise, right? But
no, he did the punt kick to the chest.
But he's done Cole's signature too. So I think this is his variation. But I thought it looked lame.
It was like a Code Red.
It was like a Panama Sunrise into a Code Red, but it looked almost more like just like a sunset flip. I didn't think it looked good. Whatever.
It was horrible. It was basically just like jumping for a Panama Sunrise, but then just switching it into a Code Red instead, which is fine.
I don't think it looked good. So McAfee picks up the win, as I assume we both predicted, and most people in the world predicted, after 11 minutes. So, I mean, this is the match where I think people need to maybe pump the brakes on how great Pat McAfee is in ring, because I thought he looked pretty sloppy in this, right?
How is he worse than Logan Paul?
That's what I was just going to say. And because we have a comparison, right? And say what you will, Pat McAfee, I know he was only a punter, and I will say only a punter, and I don't care if he's insulted by that. He was still a professional athlete, but people have just gone bananas because, and I was one that thought he looked pretty good too, for like considering experience
in
level.
NXT. He was really cool, actually. Remember?
So I think they're kind of asking him to do too much or whatever. It's sort of, for me, like we need to back off on the Pat McAfee's great in-ring talk after this. Like, I don't think he was terrible here, but he's definitely not looking like
he was pretty bad.
He's not looking like an experienced performer. I know the crowd seems to love him.
At least train him a bunch more.
Right. So I just thought this was kind of an ordinary match with nowhere near worthy of a pay-per-view either. Even Cole at one point did the whole, it wasn't a wrestling clinic, which is like when JR is like, it's bowling shoe ugly. Like that's their code for, we know this wasn't a very good match, right? I thought it was slow. Nothing really of consequence happened. McAfee, like he used to get by McAfee by being like surprisingly competent for a non-wrestler, right? But
yeah, like his Cole match was pretty solid. His War Games outing was pretty decent too. Like NXT Pat McAfee was pretty solid.
But now if he doesn't keep improving, right? We've seen it. It's not that impressive anymore.
You even said like before, and I agree. Like they keep acting like it's surprising, but like he does the same crap every time.
Right. It's
like,
not surprising anymore.
It's not different.
He just kind of looks like a below average performer, right? Because he's on the show every week.
There's no aura.
Right. In this move, like any move that was halfway complicated, he seemed to struggle a little bit with balance and delivery,
even
right?
Like a superplex thing, which that's supposed to be like one of his huge things, and he couldn't even do that. And the finish looked crap as hell.
I didn't like it.
It wasn't good, and and I don't like either of them, but Logan Paul far outclassed him.
He did. I agree. So I thought this match was mostly boring. I can't say I'm super surprised by that, but I did not enjoy it. You?
No, I didn't like. It was probably like one of my least favorite matches. Like it was just really boring.
Yep.
It was like, I think the only thing even close to how bad this was the other women's match, which I think I'd even like that better just because it wasn't as long, I think, or it just wasn't as like I don't know, it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
This, and it wasn't good, and Corbin's not like Miz. I don't think like Corbin's gonna bring out a good match in someone.
No.
He'll just kind of be competent enough
Exactly.
to help him along, but like not elevated in any way.
I agree. We then get another guy that has nothing to do with this show. Drew McIntyre comes out for some reason, says stuff about facing Sheamus.
Yeah, at least came out on the show instead of getting a random package.
And he's mocking how many times Brock and Roman have faced each other.
That was
kind of
funny.
Shot there, yeah, which I appreciate. We then get Jeff Jarrett making his entrance in his sleeveless referee jersey. All credit to him. Looks like he's in terrific shape for being 50, whatever he is. Like, still looks good, but
worked better than Flair did.
Oh yeah. So the Uso and Profits video highlighting their last match at Money in the Bank that I thought was fantastic.
That one was great.
Love that match. So we're getting a rematch of that because that's what WWE does, is just throw the rematches at you. So it is Street Profits versus the Usos for the Unified Tag Team Championships. Who did I pick in this?
Undisputed Tag.
Did I pick Profits?
We both did.
Oh, good. At least you did too.
Wow,
so
that's nice.
The Street Profits have a kind of an interesting entrance here. They get the Tennessee Titans cheerleaders are out to do a routine.
It kind of like another kind of Tennessee inspired look.
Of course,
there's a lot of white on their gear, which gotta love that. It always looks sweet.
They were in Tennessee Titan inspired entrance gear at least. So some details from this match. We get a backbreaker throat chop combo by the Usos early as they start to isolate Dawkins. And we get a lengthy chin lock included, which annoyed me because what universe do these teams need a rest hold?
So soon too.
Right? So I didn't understand that decision. But anyways, my next note is, I'm just reading them as I have them. Wow, are the first few minutes of this boring ... How is this possible? Right? Like, how are these four who put on a great match, how is the first few minutes of this so boring? So the only possible answer is it's going to build into another amazing match, right? That's when it's forgivable for me, because you're building a 25-minute classic. Maybe not.
Well,
Dawkins' insecurity allows him to finally make the hot tag to Ford, get a high crossbody by Ford right away, back suplex at a standing moonsault for 2, a standing blockbuster by Ford, a pop-up neckbreaker by Jey Uso. We get a straps down for Dawkins, and he hits a flipping senton over the top.
That was weird, because I was like, when has he ever done that?
To both, he's got to find that babyface fire for when Ford turns on him and breaks up the group, I feel like.
Well, Ford heel, really?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Ford is...
I think eventually the money's in babyface for him.
I see Dawkins turning heel. I mean, I don't think that's really great.
Dawkins is going to get lost in the shuffle, man.
Absolutely.
I don't even think he's bad.
I don't think they have to, like, maybe split. Like, could be a New Day thing.
I guess, yeah.
But, like, I would see more Dawkins as heel, which I don't think would be great, but I think Ford is too hot.
I think Endgame Ford's a money face, but if you want to start him out singles, start him out as a heel and let him turn. I
don't know about that.
But anyways, spinning neckbreaker by Dawkins for 2, pounce into a back suplex by the Profits, which I think is a cool new sort of move they've added. Super kicks to Dawkins, Uso splash from Jimmy for a 2 count. Commentary are talking about how great Jeff Jarrett is as a ref. Yes, I remember,
yeah.
And he's not, I don't understand the point of him in this. Really,
he's refereeing competently, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't, why him? And also, okay, maybe I understand having, like, a guest referee, but, like, what does he have to do this? Or, like, I don't know. They could not done a guest referee. Like, it doesn't really...
I didn't think it added anything. I don't think he came into play very much, right? I guess he did.
Have it, like, but just do best 2 out of 3. That works, right? Yeah. 2 out of 3 falls tag match. That works.
So Jarrett does get involved because he catches an Uso foot and sort of spins him around right into a Dawkins suplex, followed by a forward splash for a near fall.
It's probably the spine buster. You know, like, I forget what they call it.
Ford kind of super kicked as he attempts to dive to the ring, to the outside. He ends up getting dumped over the barricade, and that leads to super kicks and the 1D for Dawkins, and the Usos retain the titles again. So I think the match did pick up in the second half, but nowhere near as entertaining as the previous Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, I didn't find myself, like, enjoying it.
No, the first few minutes were kind of a grind, right? And at only 13 minutes, the match wasn't long enough to overcome that. If you want to start out slow and you have a 20-minute match that builds and builds, and by the end it's frantic and amazing.
Or like the
fine, but it
FTR
wasn't.
match, like that started out slow, but
Right.
that had time to build more.
Exactly.
Obviously, they're not going to go like 40-something minutes, but
No.
still.
So by the end, I don't think this was a bad match, but it paled in direct comparison to a match that they had at the last pay-per-view, right? That's
Which
one
wasn't
of the,
even a month ago.
right. One of the issues of just doing
Oh,
rematch
from SummerSlam, I mean.
doing rematch after rematch is like we have very clear comparisons for things, right? And this one did not compare well.
No.
So you have the Usos retain yet again, kind of anticlimactic, right? Nothing seems to ever change at the top of the card right now on main roster. It's getting kind of boring. Maybe it already is well into being boring, but I'm not sure why. Like, to me, you're kind of killing the Street Profits if you aren't separating them, because why would I ever believe that if you decide to elevate them, why would I ever believe in the Profits? They've had a million chances and they can't get it done, right?
Right.
So
and they already have
time to
had
move
2
on.
title runs separately
Right.
with the tag titles, so.
I don't know. So yeah, I thought it was, by the end of it, it was an okay match, a decent match, but not as nearly as good as their Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte then video package again to kill some time because she's not on this show either, and we're kind of like haven't seen her in forever.
I kind of forgot. I actually forgot
She
that
existed.
I thought she hadn't been around in a while, but it was like her last match was probably WrestleMania Backlash, which I thought it was longer than that. But
Right.
even then, that's a decent while.
So to fill some more time, Riddle comes to speak in the ring. Security don't want him there, but he refuses to leave, and he calls out Seth Rollins.
Seth freaking Rollins.
Seth comes out, they briefly brawl, and he simply hits a curb stomp to Riddle, right? And that was it.
There was no match for Rollins. What the hell, Trips?
Nope, that was it. We then get a recap of Liv Morgan winning Money in the Bank, cashing in on and defeating Ronda Rousey at Money in the Bank. So we got to get a rematch of that, obviously, because that's what we do here in WWE, is just give you the same match again. Did you like it the first time? We'll have it 6 more times.
To be fair, that was a cash-in match, but
I guess
true. To be even more fair, this was it wouldn't be good. So
SmackDown Women's Championship, as I dubbed it, aggressive eye makeup the match. They both have, and I'm not saying it doesn't look good or bad. Who am I? But aggressive eye makeup on both of these women. Judo flip right away from Ronda. Step up knee by Ronda that I thought looked pretty good. Judo throw by Rousey.
To do that? Oh, I think it was Baszler.
You're right. Codebreaker by Morgan. Oblivion's countered by Rousey. She goes for an armbar. Morgan counters that into the rings of Saturn. Ronda stands up, but we get a crucifix driver from Liv for a 2 count. Armbar by Rousey. Liv has to get to the ropes, and one more time, same thing. Officials are now checking on Liv. Armbar, but Ronda's shoulders are down, and the ref counts 3 as Liv is tapping out. I think at 2 is the point. So
yeah,
Liv Morgan, I decided to spell it with an E. Live Morgan.
Wait. Oh.
She retains in less than 5 minutes. So, of course, as I predicted, Rousey heel turn. She snaps, attacks Liv Morgan and the referee after the match. So
we both picked Morgan.
A 5-minute match. I honestly thought one thing I did like about this is Rousey looked like she was being pretty rough with Liv, right? And throwing her around.
Ragdolling her.
So it made it a little bit more interesting. But again, at the end of the day, a 5-minute championship match on a major pay-per-view with a finish that seems to suggest things might continue. I don't know where they went on TV with this, but
they make Liv look so weak. Talking about doing her a huge disservice.
Right.
Like, I already would not, like, she's already, for me, not believable to be anyone, and they just definitely made that worse.
Like, she got dominated for 5 minutes.
And, like, she technically didn't even win.
And tapped out.
Yeah,
like... And that's your champion.
Yeah, like, I don't believe she could be anyone except maybe Aaliyah.
Like, neither of our Liv Morgan fans, but I think there's a place for her, right? In a women's division.
But as the champion, no.
And as a champion who's getting dominated and winning.
She's just got her ass kicked.
Right.
And she's going to get her ass kicked again.
So I'm not sure how this helps Liv Morgan. Maybe there's a plan, but I
don't know. She's gonna
other
get
than
killed.
I thought Rousey looked good ragdolling her around a bit.
But now what does Rousey do? Because is she sticking around? Is she ditching again? Who knows?
I don't find her interesting. So
no.
This heel turn doesn't make her more interesting. And I guess this was basically the story of Liv Morgan surviving a match against a killer and finding a counter. But she tapped out too.
It's like, in what universe does Liv Morgan survive an armbar that many times? You know how many times Rousey applies an armbar and people tap out immediately? How did Liv Morgan survive? Like, that is not believable.
Tough.
You know how much you have to suspend your belief for that? Like,
Right.
no.
No, so again, just a 5-minute championship match on one of your big 4 pay-per-views.
Yeah,
So sure.
not a great one.
Mayor
Not feeling
Kane,
it.
the piece of garbage that he is in the ring summoning fire. That's all the attention he gets from me.
It was the attendance thing.
Sure. Yes, him exaggerating the attendance. Then we get a Brock Roman Reigns recap video with a little bit of theory mixed in there as well, ahead of our main event, which is Brock Lesnar challenging Roman Reigns for the undisputed whatever WWE Championship, blah, blah, blah. Brock drives out a tractor and does his own introduction, which I thought was so this match, man.
It was cool because he tossed the mic and Roman caught it perfectly, like no effort.
That was cool. There's a lot of spectacle and sports entertainment here, right? Which, I don't know. We'll talk about it, I guess. So Brock jumps off the bucket of the tractor onto Reigns to start the match. We get a belly to belly from Brock on the floor, another one off the steps to the floor. They fight outside the ring. Brock is in control the entire time early on here. Brock botches jumping up onto the barricade. Briefly there, but then he suplexes Roman on the floor yet again. Lesnar Samoan drop through a table, and then hit in the head with the ring steps. We get a Superman punch, then another, then a spear, but Brock gets up. Reigns takes a spine buster through a table at ringside. Lesnar gets in the tractor, but he gets out to hit Reigns with the ring steps, then a piece of a table that actually looked kind of cool. Reigns gets up at the 8 count here. Brock puts Reigns into the shovel of the tractor, lifts him up, and dumps him in the ring. Again,
that looked really lame.
A spectacle, but that's what my notes from. Really, it's no higher than the ropes. A little bit anticlimactic.
Well, and it's cool. Like the way he fell out. It's just like he flopped out. Because then to me, it was like you could get more impact getting shoved off the top rope.
Yeah, like marks for trying something different, but that spot didn't look amazing. No.
Yeah.
German suplex by Brock, then 2 more. Reigns gets up and Brock hits him immediately with an F5, but Reigns gets up yet again. We get a guillotine by Roman, reversed by Brock. Brock releases the hold. Reigns gets up at 9. Lesnar uses the tractor, this is the big spot, right, to lift one corner of the ring, which forces Reigns to roll to the floor. Again, another cool spectacle, visual, sort of like something new, right? We've had the ring collapse. We've had people be slammed through the ring. We've had people reach up through the ring. So at least they did something different here. I will give them marks for that for sure. The Usos get involved here.
I don't know how effective it is,
but end up getting taken out. Heyman gets in Brock's face and gets F5 through the announce table. That looked pretty good.
Yeah, I was like, really, you're gonna... I think it was cool. It was kind of funny, but like, if you're Brock, you're gonna waste the table spot on just taking out Heyman.
I guess so.
Which serves you no benefit.
Reigns then spears Brock Lesnar. Both men are down. Theory comes out, hits Reigns with the case, but takes an F5 before he can cash in.
So it's one of those bait and switch cash-ins, or it's not
standard issue.
Yeah.
Usos take out Brock with super kicks, but he gets up and takes an immediate spear from Reigns. The referee obviously counts, but Brock is able to get up at 9. Reigns attacks Lesnar with the Money in the Bank case, but Brock still is able to get up. Reigns hits a belt shot, but Brock once again is able to get up before the 10 count. Another belt shot to Lesnar. Bloodline then bury Lesnar under a bunch of furniture, broken tables and whatnot. Reigns stands on the pile.
You go from something new to something like not new.
As the ref counts, and Roman Reigns retains his championships after 23 minutes.
Pick that easy.
Well, people absolutely loved this match, right? I've heard this is the best last man standing match ever. I just listened to a podcast that I really respect, and they said this match was pretty much perfect.
No.
I think it was a good WWE match.
I think it's good for main roster, but by no means perfect.
I was sports entertained. I'll say that, right? Like, I think the spot with the tractor was like the action, let's be real, was plodding but physical, right? It's what you expect. Here's a couple suplexes, walk, 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 Superman punch, walk, walk, walk.
Table spot,
walk,
something
walk,
else.
walk, right? So that's fine. It's never my favorite style, but I get it. I don't know. You got run-ins and interference. Like, I think this was a good match, and I was sports entertained, but as sports entertainment is not my preferred type of wrestling, there's a ceiling on that for me, right? So, knowing that Brock wasn't going to be winning, because I didn't think he was, took away some of the drama from this for me. The tractor spot, I honestly thought was a good use of that and something unique that will make this match memorable, right? Like we'll remember SummerSlam when they brought the tractor out and lifted the ring. Yeah.
And it at least is playing into Brock's current shtick.
So again, like a good match. I was sports entertained, but I'm not like this is gonna sound like a crazy take, but honestly, I prefer matches like Danielson and Garcia that we just got, right? Like, and people are
FTR Briscoes.
People will skewer us for that, but like, yeah, this was a good match. I'm not saying it wasn't, but it's just not the type of match for me. Just
My
but
opinion,
well
FTR
executed.
Briscoes was more of a air quotes perfect match.
But I would say it was a good match.
Yeah, it was solid.
Yeah, nothing amazing, right?
I don't know. It wasn't like when I say sports entertained, it's like I don't know. It's good sports entertainment thing, but I wasn't particularly entertained.
Right.
To put it that way.
So overall, the show was a mixed bag for me. The opening match was my match of the night, and the segment that followed were the best things on this show. It peaked very early this show, giving me some hope for the main roster and an interesting faction being introduced. The main event was a spectacle that I mostly enjoyed. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it, and it was definitely a spectacle. Logan Paul impressed me in his match as much as I hate to admit it, but the rest of the card, like in between the opener and the main event, felt kind of uninspired and bland to me. There's a pretty good tag title match in there, but again, paled in comparison to one we just saw between those same teams. So I'm giving it not a great grade. I know people loved SummerSlam. I've seen a lot since we waited a week to do it. I've already read and listened to a bunch of stuff, but for me, this was a C+ show. You got an awesome opener and an awesome segment tied to it and a pretty enjoyable main event, and then in between, there, to me, nothing memorable.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, I thought the opener, like just the whole package with the return to the match was pretty great. I loved that whole shebang. I thought that was great. I thought Paul was actually fine.
He was.
I love it, but I thought it was perfectly fine. And then like a lot of the mid card was just like I'm trying to remember like SmackDown Women's title match, Black McAfee Black tag title match, fine. US title match too short.
Right.
So nothing much in that. And the main event, like I guess it's a good main roster thing, but I don't particularly love it, so I can't even say like that.
Yeah.
Helps the show a ton for me. It was an okay main roster show, but it's also SummerSlam, so I guess I'd go like.
I feel like you're a bit lower than me. Maybe a C? I went C+.
I'll go C+.
You're a nice boy.
Yeah. I will like Triple H is at least like he's starting to make waves, and we'll
get
more of that soon.
We will. So that's gonna wrap up our SummerSlam.
You win by one.
Hey, I won by one. Nice.
I got
you were on a
at
least a 3 pay-per-view streak. So.
ROH and SummerSlam are documented.
Nice. So that finishes up our SummerSlam review. We'll take a slight detour into the world of wrestling trivia in a segment we like to call Off the Top of His Head. All right, so for trivia today, I think we've talked about NXT before, but I found a pretty cool trivia thing that we're going to use here from, where's it from? Funtrivia.com.
Aw, I thought you were going to say Kedaddle.
And no, Kedaddle days are over. So these seem to be like checked and vetted a little bit better, but we'll see.
I'd hope so.
So there's a lot of questions here, so I can use it for multiple weeks. Some of them very hard, some of them not. So let's begin. This one's tough. Which American heavy metal band opened NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3? I have options if you'd like them.
Yeah, I'll probably know once I hear
Metallica, Pantera, Guns N' Roses, Code Orange.
Code Orange.
Correct.
Which I only know that because they did the Fiend theme.
I feel like this is one you'll know. Sanity faced Ty Dillinger, Roderick Strong, Ruby Riott, and which other NXT superstar in the opening match of NXT TakeOver Orlando? So Dillinger, Roderick Strong, Ruby Riott, and one other superstar.
Cassius Ohno.
Correct. Very good.
I remember that. They were against Sandy, and Sandy had eye makeup.
Nice. Wow, the details you remember.
And then some of them were in the Andre Battle Royal the next day.
Nice. Which former Ring of Honor World Championship holder was part of the NXT TakeOver San Antonio pre-show panel? Ring of Honor World Championship holder.
Aries?
No. So your options are Aries, Daniel Bryan, Low-Key, Nigel McGuinness.
Nigel McGuinness.
Correct, because he's a commentator.
Yeah.
Pretty sure you're going to know this one. NXT TakeOver Toronto was held the night before which WWE pay-per-view?
Which one?
2016.
Survivor Series.
Correct.
2019 one was the SummerSlam one.
Where we were.
Yep, that's the one we went to.
Right.
And the first one was the DIY Revival.
Right. I feel like you're going to know this one. Which NXT superstar did Austin Aries face in the opening match of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2, Electric Boogaloo?
Oh, I don't want to say it was. I feel like it was either Noe Jose or Hideo Itami.
You are correct. Pick one.
Noe Jose.
Correct. And I'm
Nice.
glad you didn't ask for options because their options were No Way Jose, No Way Mose, No Way Bose, and No Way Doze.
What?
So I'm glad you did not ask for the options there. Wow, I would not know this one. Let's see what you know. Which NXT, that's wrong. I'm going to read it as written. It's another one of those.
God.
Which NXT diva, gross, did Dana Brooke face at NXT TakeOver Respect?
Bailey.
No.
Emma.
No.
Carmella.
This was this person's NXT in-ring debut. Defeated Dana Brooke.
I don't know.
Options?
Sure.
Nia Jax, Carmella, Asuka, Emma.
Nia Jax.
No.
Asuka.
Correct.
She debuted in 2015.
I guess, apparently.
I would have thought 2016.
She made her pro wrestling debut in 2004. That's a detail
Wow.
included here. Who is the first NXT Women's Champion?
Paige.
Correct. That's too hard, I think.
What?
Which Florida city hosted NXT TakeOver The End?
Orlando?
It's not one I've even heard of.
Oh,
so
okay.
Winter Park.
I don't even know what that is.
Infinite guesses, I feel like, and you're not going to
Yeah.
get that one. I try not to go crazy. Which NXT superstar announced his retirement from wrestling at the NXT TakeOver 3 R Evolution pre-show?
Tyson Kidd?
No. He is now a commentator.
Regal?
Former tag team champion in
Oh.
NXT.
Maybe. Oh, Graves.
Yes, Graves. Can't believe you forgot him. A lot of these are hosted whatever panel. Like, who's going to know that, right?
Who cares?
Which match was the first match to be contested? So I'm guessing the opener at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Opening match. Some might suggest, is this the greatest match ever?
God. Yeah. Okay.
So what is
not
it?
the one you're thinking of.
No.
The one you want was Philadelphia. No, that's one of the Gargano Andrade ones.
Correct.
First Gargano Andrade, I think, because then there was the second one in Philadelphia, and then there was the third one when Gargano got ousted from NXT because Ciampa screwed him.
Right. Which match opened NXT TakeOver Chicago? Hints?
It wasn't the ladder match, was it?
It was not, I don't think.
Okay. No, wait, that was the main event, because...
So you've
Ciampa
got
turned.
somebody still in NXT versus somebody in Impact.
Was it Rude and... no.
No. Canadian boy. From Impact.
Rude?
No. Part of Team Canada. Right faction.
Oh, was it EY and Dillinger?
EY and, not Dillinger.
I thought
Somebody
it was
still in NXT.
Roddy?
Correct. Which
That's not a memorable takeover
No.
in general.
Which NXT Women's Superstar won the 2016 Superstar of the Year award?
Asuka?
Correct.
Why wouldn't it be Asuka?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying too. Which NXT superstar returned from injury to confront Austin Aries at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2? Returned from oft injured in NXT during his time there, is no longer there. Has returned to
I don't know.
It has returned to Japan.
Oh, Atami?
Correct. These are hard, eh? Some of
I
them.
forgot about him.
Yeah, he was definitely did
Lame.
not get a lot done there. Which tag team won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic at NXT TakeOver Respect?
Balor and Joe.
Correct. Very good. This wrestler had a massively successful debut at NXT TakeOver Dallas, defeating Sami Zayn.
Nakamura.
Correct. Which former holder of the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship made his NXT debut at NXT TakeOver 3 R Evolution? Former ROH
Zayn?
champion. No.
Owens?
Yes. Or Kevin Steen if you want.
I don't.
You don't. Which WWE diva faced Becky Lynch in a dark match before NXT TakeOver 2 Fatal 4-Way went
Why
on
would I
air?
know that?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Paige. That was hard.
Oh.
I'll try and get you a decent one. Let's see here. Andrade competed in the second match of NXT TakeOver Orlando against who? TakeOver Orlando.
Was it Black?
It was Aleister Black. Very good.
Ironic, because that's the... I feel like that was Black's debut. But it's funny, because that's Black's debut match, probably. And that would have been the Mania TakeOver for Mania 33.
Right.
And then a year later, TakeOver New Orleans, which is the Mania 34 TakeOver, Black beat Andrade for the title.
Right.
So
I'll do a couple more
I
here.
think Andrade wore silver in that match. The second one.
Which NXT male wrestler won 2016 Male Superstar of the Year at TakeOver San Antonio?
He won it at San Antonio. Oh, wait, because, okay.
I think they announced them.
It was either Nakamura or Joe or Nakamura.
It was one of those.
Nakamura.
Correct. Last one. Don't think this is hard. Which NXT superstar entered NXT TakeOver Toronto with a choir singing his theme song?
Rude.
Correct.
Duh.
Right. All right, good job. So I might continue with that one next week. So I made it up to, I'll make a note of what question I stopped at, and we will get ready to go back to an in-depth review, this time looking at Wednesday night's episode of AEW Dynamite.
So we open with Orange Cassidy versus Jay Lethal, kind of on the back of, I guess, the Rampage match last week, which was the Trios affair.
And just coming into this episode of Dynamite, I was really interested because last week
set off a lot of...
Exactly. To me, they significantly elevated Starks, Jungle Boy, and Garcia, and you could even argue Hobbs, right, in one show. They really went, here's 4 or 5 young guys that we're getting a little more attention to, and it feels like because the Ring of Honor pay-per-view is done, because I feel like they
have more time to
got bogged down in building
little bit,
right? So I feel like they've been sort of freed from that, and the show's picked up. So I was excited to watch this episode.
So some notables are Suicide Dive by Cassidy. Lethal's targeting Cassidy's left foot, stomping on the stairs a bunch. There's a figure 4 by Lethal. Target that more. Lethal blocks the tilt world DDT, kind of turns into a lethal combination for 2, which is kind of cool. It was cool how we transitioned less so, like, I don't know, lethal combination never looks super impactful in my opinion.
Right.
Like, it's a cool move to have, but I don't know why that's like a signature move that he tries to pin off of. I don't ever envision that getting
because it's him putting kind of two cool moves together.
It is cool, yeah, but like I feel like it's just like it's more of like a motion where it's like I don't it doesn't look super impactful. Like I think it's a solid move, but I don't think you should be trying to get falls off of that because I don't see that happening. This diving DDT by Cassidy and then a tilt world DDT for 2. Gets a near fall with a beach break, and then eventually Lethal picks up the win. Finish comes with the lethal injection. Post match, Dot tells her credit to give it for Lethal, says that was amazing. And then Lethal says Wardlow got involved in their business last week. If Wardlow is listening, he'll put Cassidy in figure 4 and break his leg. He's about to. Best friends come down, then Wardlow makes his way down and clears the ring like the heels flee. Dot says it isn't fair. Challenges Wardlow to defend the TNT title against Lethal at Battle of Bells 3 tonight. So maybe we preview that. It's only 3 matches.
Didn't Best Friends come out in like stacked on each other's shoulders in a trench coat to be taller than Satnam Singh? Did you not make a note of that?
I don't know.
I laughed at it because it reminded me of I don't know. You don't know the show, but I watched BoJack Horseman, and there's one character where it's 2 kids in.
I know that. I
2 kids in a trench coat, and that's their character. So yeah, that's what Best Friends were doing. I don't know. I thought this was a really good competitive match. I liked it quite a bit. Got a lot of time. There's something about Lethal when he's in control of a match that I quite enjoy, and I can't really put my finger on it. I'm going to try and pay attention going forward.
Really?
But I do like him, yeah. And Cassidy, as much as I say, like, I'm not the biggest fan of his gimmick, like, he keeps having matches that I like, right? I don't know what else I can say, but I thought another good match for him. Were you surprised by the finish? I definitely was.
Why?
I just didn't think Lethal was going to win.
No, I don't know. I didn't really know what to expect. I guess it kind of makes sense in hindsight, but
At the time, because I was just thinking Lethal's been sort of booked as like the talented veteran who doesn't win that often, and it feels to me like it's just a match that gets Cassidy back on the winning track, right? I thought for sure Cassidy was winning. So I like being surprised. I don't have a problem with that. I just did not expect the win. Um, Sanjay Dutt feels like he's playing more of a character the last couple weeks in his promos that I'm not sure I'm enjoying as much. He seems like he's going a bit over the top with it, right? So, I don't know. Obviously, Lethal's going to be the next guy sacrificed to Wardlow, which is fine. At least Cassidy already set the precedent of like a good competitive match with Wardlow, right? So it maybe doesn't have to be a squash. But I actually thought this was a really good match. I liked it. You?
yeah, I thought it was fine. I didn't particularly find it super exciting. It was a little weird, Lethal one, but I guess in hindsight, it makes more sense setting up a match for Battle of the Belts, which is today. So it's kind of weird. Like they're kind of setting up stuff last minute,
which we don't get on TV until 2:30 a.m. Not cool.
Lethal looks solid here, but in general, I don't think his signing's been overly useful. Like I think he's solid sometimes, but I don't. He's not particularly exciting to me, and like he's a solid hand, like and he's like a veteran, but like honestly, he's not doing a lot. He's not gonna have a lot of upward mobility, so I don't know. I feel like the signing could have been better spent elsewhere. And also on the same show, they signed him and Swerve. Like,
yeah,
I don't think they need to sign both. So I think Lethal's been doing fine, but I don't know. It's just like he's not really doing much for me. Cassidy was solid as well. Another solid match for him. The post match stuff was fine as well. Wardlow versus Lethal, cool, I guess. But
yeah,
not really watching the show for that.
No,
I'm watching it for Takeshita.
Me too. Heck yes.
Next we get the return of the Undisputed Elite. The Young Bucks are also there.
Yes, everybody except Kenneth. No Kenny yet.
Kenneth Omega. Cole says it's great to be back. He says he is still not cleared, but he has been thinking a lot, and he is thinking what they can fix. He says they're 5 of the very best, and he talks about loyalty and saying he came to AEW because of the Bucks. He has traveled on the road with Kyle O'Reilly and Fish, and loyalty is everything. And he moves to the Trios tournament. Cole says there is nothing he would love more than for them to win the titles. But if he and Kyle O'Reilly aren't cleared, and the Bucks won't choose Bobby, they can't do the tournament. And then he corrects and says they won't be physically capable of doing it in Undisputed Era, as I will refer to them as, because that is better. They attack the Bucks. They're about to do like one of those ankle chair things until Hangman Page makes a save. And after his hand, he pulls Matt up, and then he exits the ring. So
the Hung Bucks are
cool.
Reunited.
Hung Bucks. I saw that.
Yeah, I think they said that on commentary. One of them's called them.
Oh, I saw that in like the Bleacher Report thing that you sent me.
Yeah.
Thought that was funny.
Yeah. So I thought another really productive segment that I was entertained by. Right. So you get Undisputed Era go full heel, which I think is good for them, and it helps further establish the Bucks as baby faces. Right, which is the goal right now. You are also getting Hangman back in the orbit of the main event people. I think that helps, and it already is creating some prestige for the new trios titles, right? So do you think Cole, he's right about he and O'Reilly not being cleared? Because I feel like this is like he's taking out his friends to stop them from winning the trios belts. Like, to me,
it could be a ruse, because why would you bring them back if they're not ready?
It feels like the finals of this tournament now have to be these two trios.
Whether it's Hangman or Omega.
Right.
How do you make it Omega? Like, let's say that's still the plan. How does that work? If
he comes back and the Bucks were just toying with Hangman, ha ha ha.
But now they're heel again
with your emotions again. Yeah, I guess not. I don't know.
Yeah, so maybe this is the.
And I'm wondering, and then if Cole and O'Reilly really aren't cleared, then I don't quite know where this goes either. But I still thought it was interesting, and we have several characters and factions like evolving, right, which I like. Hangman is like inching closer to joining the Bucks, which is kind of interesting. We all know, as
that'll be
saying,
interesting with the Dark Order,
and we all know that Omega is looming there. So I found that this is really interesting stuff is going on right now, and for me, AEW is hot with their storytelling because they've just sort of. I think this is an example of good storytelling with established talent this week, whereas last week they did a lot of really nice building for some of their younger talent. So yeah. I thought this was good. I'm just wondering where it goes from here, but I guess that's good too.
At least there's multiple directions this could go.
They've got me intrigued, right?
Yeah, and it's not like where you can kind of fully see what's going to happen. Cause like I said, I don't know. Like, let's say Omega is still involved.
Right.
I don't know how that works. Let's say that they're not cleared. I don't know how that works. If they are cleared, fantastic. If they're not,
Because Khan was basically on the record saying the trios belts will come when Kenny's back, right? Like that. So I would assume he's coming.
That's what I thought this was. Is
right.
We were right about the Bucks heel turn, or sorry, Undisputed Era heel turn, but no Omega yet. So that's kind of weird. Cause like you said, yeah, like Khan's literally said it's gonna be Omega,
Right.
or like that Omega will be back, which heavily implies, like all but confirms that Omega would probably win the titles with the Bucks. So like, I don't know how you still go about that. Maybe like they just can't do that, so they're gonna introduce it. But like,
yeah, or
I don't
maybe
know.
they are going to get there in some creative way, right? So I don't know. I like the segment, and it's a lot of possibilities. So I kind of liked it.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was a solid promo from Cole. Like, there's like a couple hints in that promo, like you could see him kind of hinting it throughout.
Yep.
And then at least I thought so. And then I was really hoping this would be Omega tonight, as I figured that the heel turn would come. Maybe Omega shows up soon, but it's cool as Hangman. I'm happy about that too. Like, and now like I said, I don't know how you put Omega into this, if you even can anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Yep.
But this is interesting for sure.
I thought so.
Next we get a Mox promo. He said he didn't care who wins the match tonight between Jericho and Yuta, which I'm sure will be barn burner.
Mm-hmm.
Moxley talked about how when the bell rings, he's trying to hurt his opponent, break them, spill their blood.
He does not care.
He said he won't stop. Moxley says that he gets no days off, which is why he's the best at this. Mox said maybe Jericho wins or maybe Yuta wins, but whoever wins better be ready to face him next week. Well, we know Yuta has before.
Mm-hmm.
Moxley said when you step in the ring with him, it's not a game.
Yeah, I mean, awesome promo for Mox as always. I think like he's compensating kind of character-wise, which I like, by being just the interim champion, right? By constantly defending it against strong opponents all the time, because that's
which is basically then a real title.
Which I think this is really cool, right? He is elevating people through both his promos and his in-ring work,
Keshta,
right? So he's just
Roosh.
He's helping people exactly. He got Roosh
Brody
really
King.
noticed there, and Brody King, like. So he's elevating people both with words and actions. So I think he's having a great
he's
run.
gonna elevate Jericho.
And sure, it's only, interim, but again, he's defending it against people constantly. So I thought this was a really good promo.
Unpopular take. I would much prefer he beats Punk for the real title, and I don't think that'll happen. Unfortunately, I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
But controversial opinion, I would much rather Moxley be champion again.
I mean, of all the people who are out right now, I miss Punk the least. Like, I missed Danielson way more.
Cole.
I missed Cole more.
Miss Kyle O'Reilly more than Punk.
I miss Omega more, right?
Oh, I absolutely miss Omega more.
I mean, I think Punk's been doing well, but
I think that's because, like, I like, for me, I think the Punk not missing points, like, it's a combination of a few factors. Like, one, I never wanted him to be champion.
Yeah.
2, he was champion for a week.
A minute, yeah.
And 3, I think Mox has been doing a fantastic job as interim champion. Like,
Yep.
whereas the Guevara interim champion felt unnecessary, I think Mox is doing a fantastic job, like, picking up the slack where it should be. So,
and we're not the biggest Punk people.
No, and there's also that. But like, if Punk had like a solid run before he got injured, maybe I'd miss him more. But like, honestly, at this rate, like, Punk is kind of at towards the end of the road. Like, I still don't get why he had the title. And I think Mox is doing a fantastic job. I think he would deserve a full-on second run, and I don't think Punk really needs the title. I think like when they do the unification match, I really hope it's Mox. I'm not super confident that it would be, but
I don't think it will be.
I really hope it's Mox because I think he's doing great.
And you know what's kind of weird is that Jericho's saying that if he wins, he'll be the first 2-time champion because Moxley's interim run doesn't count. But then he would be.
Yeah.
Also,
maybe he's like saying first 2-time Le Champion because that's his gimmick. But like, that was my first thought too, because it's like, if the interim title doesn't count, then that applies to Jericho too.
It wouldn't count for you.
But then it also counted for Guevara because Guevara's. Well, I mean, he technically won it properly.
And then if it does count, you're not the first 2-time champ. So either way, you're screwed, bud. But anyway, just the thing I thought was funny. If that's
like, that was kind of the thought I had. But so does a good promo as always. I like how he's just like,
oh yeah, he's great on the mic.
He'll respect people, but then just kills them.
Yep.
Doesn't get me more into the match at Quake by the Lake, but he always cuts a good promo, so
he
that's
sure
okay.
does. Yep.
There's Chris Gage interview, not because Jungle Boy jumps out of a car and attacks him. He's taken away. I glanced and so I saw a car and then I saw Jungle Boy get taken away. So at first I thought it was attempted hit and run.
Yeah, I was. I mean, the point is, right, it's adding to, like, it's giving Jungle Boy some edge. Like, he's not just the innocent, high-flying
In addition
kid,
to his scruffy
right?
facial hair.
He's, like, big mad. So it's just creating a little bit of edge for Jungle Boy. So that's fine, I think.
Mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was fine. Yeah, it wasn't much. It was a short thing.
Yep.
And I guess, like, the show run sheet got mixed up because the women's match is on already.
What?
What?
So, do you like, honestly, and I feel like, is this because maybe Britt is a bigger star and, like, they put it in a different
But even
spot?
so,
Because it's been in the same spot before the main event for months.
she's had, like, matches on TV before, like, arguably when she was big, like, and it's still been in the slot.
So I assume that they're listening to our podcast and they're
Yeah,
like, we
that's what
noticed
I thought you were gonna
that
say,
you
and I was like,
always
obviously.
put women in the same spot. Why not switch it up? So they
Yeah,
did.
you guys got.
You're right.
So
In the
you're
first-
welcome, everyone.
In the first hour.
In the first hour, yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it helped the match. But I'll get to my thoughts on the match.
Maybe. So we have Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker versus everyone's favorite tag team. Not, well, everyone except me. Thunderstorm.
Yepper.
Love Thunderstorm.
Yeppers.
Would you care to comment on?
I snuck in a yeppers.
Yeppers.
Yeesh.
When I tell you about yeppers.
Yeesh.
Care to comment on any T-shirts that were worn in this
Oh,
match?
right. This was Thunder Rosa wearing the sandbagging since 2014.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Props for being self-aware.
I guess, but it's kind of like, this is like this is a major shortcoming in the world of wrestling that you're just trying to embrace, right? Like, it's basically like, hey, you don't sell. Well, I'm putting that on a shirt, right? Like, I'm bad at my job is what you're putting on a shirt. Like, leaning into it.
Yeah, it was.
I wasn't a fan
I didn't even
of that
notice.
strategy.
You pointed that out. I was like, oh yeah.
I wasn't a fan of it, but
no,
anyways.
you were not. So there's some corner tag offense by Thunderstorm that was pretty basic, not much to note. There's a stunner by Rosa. She makes a tag out to Storm for a hot tag flurry. Another bad Alabama slam by Storm for 2. She needs to stop doing that move.
It was the low point of this
I'll
match.
give credit to Storm for improving in AEW, but she needs to stop doing that move. It's looked bad every time she's done it.
It almost like you're placing them on the mat.
Yeah.
It takes, because normally Alabama slams look super impactful.
Yeah, they're
like,
pretty
I don't
cool.
think people like taking it from Bob Hawley, right?
Or I
'Cause
know
it was
Cody's done
killing.
it. Or like I really like. I remember Drew McIntyre does like the reverse one.
Yes,
That one's pretty cool.
but no, hers looks like she's just kind
It
of.
looks like a setup for a move
rolling
and
you
a
onto
bad
the-
setup at
yeah,
that.
It's not great.
Yeah, like that's not like a move you actually pin people off. That's worth.
But that was probably my only issue
That's
with
worth
this
in the
match.
lethal combination. Okay.
So other than that, yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. Reba distracts Storm, who's on the top rope, as I wrote.
Top rope.
And Baker comes to meet her, and Baker hits an avalanche air raid crash.
Yes,
Coolio.
it was.
Baker hits a curb stomp for 2. Sorry, a stomp. Can't say curb stomp. But Rosa breaks the pin with a diving drop kick, just like your camera work there. Yeah.
One of the best pinfall breakups I think I've seen.
I remember, like I love shots like that. I remember that actually just kind of jogs memory a bit. In the Shield triple threat, I remember like one of them pinned. I think either Ambrose pinned Reigns or Reigns pinned Ambrose or Moxley, and then Rollins just like comes in with like a frog splash to break up to him, like just
Right.
like flying in, and everyone's like it's the perfect camera.
Yeah,
angle.
because the camera's kind of pulled in on Hayter's face going for the pinfall, and then she just gets kicked in the back of the head out of nowhere, and her face just goes into the mat. Like, I thought it looked amazing.
Yeah, I love shots like that.
Yeah, it looked great.
Baker hits an air crash to Rosa, then Storm hits a Trinity DDT to Baker, then Hayter hits a nice backbreaker to Storm.
Yeah, this was
Storm
a
goes back and forth
intense
hitting hip
segment.
attacks in the corners to both Hayter and Baker.
Looked good.
And Hayter, the finish comes when Hayter beats Storm with like I think it was a short arm lariat. I don't think it was just a close. I think they said it was a short
Yeah,
arm lariat.
which kind of anticlimactic, and that gets her a title shot. I think is what I've heard. That there's going to be a Hayter.
Yeah, it's
Rosa.
at Battle of the Belts.
Right.
I don't know why that gets her a title shot because she pinned Storm.
I'm kind of happy for her.
Wait, she pinned Storm. So
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Well, their Thunderstorm are so in sync. You pin one, it's basically like you pin the other.
When you be one of us,
They're
you be
just
both
one
of us.
and the same.
They're one entity.
Yeah, I like this match quite a bit. I didn't think I was going to, but I thought this was a really good high energy tag team match with a really hectic in a good way, like final few minutes, right? Where there's just moves. Got a lot of time, like 12 and a half minutes. All 4 women looked really good, I thought here. There was some double team stuff from each team, high impact stuff from pretty much everybody. The crowd really got into the final few minutes of this. The crowd dynamic was a bit tough because people just love Britt, right? Even though she's supposed to be a heel, you're going to get mixed chants at best when she's involved. But I thought this was a really entertaining match outside of the normal women's time slot. So my question for you is, what are your thoughts on Hayter at this point?
I think she's solid. Like, I don't know. I think she's alright because I think working with Baker also helps because Baker will probably help her a lot. But I think she's alright. Like, I don't think she's gonna like carry a match, but I think like when she's involved with like I think it's kind of like Storm to a degree where like when she's involved with the right people, she's pretty good.
Yes.
Because I think sometimes I don't love her, but I think generally I like her like a decent amount.
I pretty much agree. I find she's hit and miss, but that lately it's been more hit than miss.
I say like the same for her and Storm.
So I'm kind of optimistic that I'm hoping for a good match out of this, right? So
yeah, we'll see with her and Rosa because Rosa is also
right hit and miss.
Yeah,
I quite like this tag match. I'm not gonna lie. I was happy.
It was pretty good, all things considered. Auto's a different time slot, but still a pretty good TV match. And I mean, hey, shaking it up, that's perfectly fine. Big step up from last week's women's outing, Rosa and whatever her face is. It's a shame this is probably the only match we'll get on the show for them, but I thought it was quite good, making the most of it. Happy Hayter and Baker won. I was surprised that they won, but I don't care for Thunderstorm, so I'm happy nonetheless. Thunderstorm sucks.
I just feel like it doesn't work together. They don't seem comfortable together. I don't feel like they actually like each other. Like
they're not a team.
I just don't think Thunder Rosa is good at emoting things, basically, right? So I'm not picking up on it either.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. Next we get Guevara Conti package.
Nope.
It's just a video package talking about being absent this week, getting married, because that is what I was wondering about. I don't miss CM Punk because I miss Sammy Guevara.
Well, it was just there for Eddie to crash.
Kingston cuts it off and says nobody cares. Agreed.
True.
And he says Sammy has a receipt coming because it is pretty much Sammy who cost him the barbed wire everywhere.
And he even took a shot at how wrestlers watch monitors backstage. He said something about the way he was watching the TV or something.
He says when Sammy's done with that, he tells Sammy to sign a contract that he's been sent for a match at All Out. So the wedding thing was whatever. It just kind of set up Kingston cutting off, which I thought was pretty funny. Solid promo. Him versus Guevara is a solid like mid card bout for All Out. I feel like you could bout for All Out.
I think it's a way for Eddie to get a win back too, right? Like he can't beat Jericho for whatever reason. So
even though did he
in any of their matches?
Yeah, didn't he beat him at Revolution? And then Jericho's supposed to like shake his hand or do something, then he didn't. That's the heel turn.
Right.
I think like this, you'll probably get like Starks Hobbs at the preview, so that's a couple of solid mid card matches.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think there's some storytelling going on at all levels, right? So you might care about.
I don't mind
matches.
this because it kind of keeps that feud going, which you don't need to keep this feud going, but it'll help Eddie get his win back.
I think he needs a win,
and then maybe he beats Jericho finally again. Like
I want that to be over with.
They've had 2 matches. Maybe you go one more. At the most, you go one more.
Yeah.
After he beats Guevara, gets his win back, goes to Jericho. I don't know how you top a barbed wire death match with the Painmaker.
Right.
But maybe Eddie goes Painmaker, or he goes the
Lionheart.
No, no. Eddie goes like he should like. What's a synonym for pain?
Suffering
causer.
Maybe. But yeah, I thought Eddie did a good promo from Eddie as always.
Yeah, I liked it. Next we have a recap package last week's Team Taz event. And so basically it was just like a recap and stuff, and then after a commentary, Taz says he didn't know about anything that happened. So that'd be Ricky's second challenge, Hook accepting the challenge and winning the title, Hobbs' turn. So he says he wishes all 3 of them the best, but he's done with Team Taz. Makes perfect sense out of last week, kind of what I would expect.
Yes.
And I like that because it's like, it's not, he wasn't responsible for anything. It's just like, what happened, and it's not like he's siding with anyone. He's just like, letting them all do them, which I think is perfect. That makes total sense here. That this is the right move.
I don't think it was like the most creative way to do it, but like Taz is a full-time commentator. He hasn't been contributing to any segments.
No, I think this makes perfect sense. So, like, who does he side with here? Like, I guess you could see, in all likelihood, he's still managing Hook a bit.
Sure.
Because it's his kid.
His own son.
But other than that.
Yeah, kind of like cut everyone else loose, let them do their own thing.
No, it makes perfect sense.
I mean, super, not creative, but basic and I think necessary. So I was fine with it too.
Perfectly fine with that. Next we get Powerhouse Hobbs with Ren Jones, or versus Ren Jones. New theme for Hobbs, which is pretty cool. I mean, I like this old theme too, but it's kind of similar. Hobbs rams Jones in the corner power slam position, and hits a pretty nice running power slam, bit of a jump on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he hit like a clothesline, kind of like last week, and then he picks up the win. Stark's music hits, he bolts to the ring, attacks Hobbs pretty fast, but then he eventually eats another spine buster, so Hobbs stands tall again.
Yeah, I really like Hobbs. I think that he's kind of like Brian Cage, minus the like high flying ability, but with some charisma and attitude that Cage lacks severely, right? So I'm not sure Hobbs is like a top of the card guy.
Cage and Hobbs tag team.
He's a super convincing like upper mid card heel for me. And I really like that he still got the better of like the overzealous Starks. Like Starks
that's what I was. That's what I noted too. I thought it was like kind of cool because like typically this is where you expect Starks to get like a bit of payback.
Right.
You know, it's like he gets a bit. A bit even here, but no, like, and I think it was cool because like you said, like Starks is over. It's like he came Bolton. He was just like.
I think the idea, right? Like Starks is over emotional about this and didn't pick his spot properly and got
Which
killed.
I mean, like typically that's the kind of guy Starks would be. Like he would typically pick a spot.
He's so furious right now that he's not thinking straight.
Yeah, he bolted out
and he picked a bad time and he got caught. And I think that's awesome.
That was cool.
Yep, I liked it.
Better spinebuster than last week.
I don't know. There's something about Hobbs I really like. So
yeah, I liked it.
It
was short, but it was effective. He looked pretty cool here. I will
do like his
say
entrance,
I
too.
wish he used the spine buster. Oh right, yes, he came out of the thing like Cody. That was really cool.
He got the Cody elevator treatment.
That was really cool.
His entrance is cool.
Yeah, that was really awesome. I totally forgot about that.
I just watched a video before we came down of his like entrance before, like his early in AEW entrance, and
like before he had the singlet.
And it's definitely and it's definitely like
Hobbs versus Powerhouse Hobbs.
His presentation has been picked up for sure.
I just wish my only thing was that you used the spine buster because I think the clothesline, like, it's cool and all, but it was kind of cooler just as like the sneak attack, and I don't think that needs to be his thing now.
No.
So I wish you could use the spine buster. That's my only thing though, because other than that, I think he looked really great here. His short squash, like,
although his
effective.
Attack on Starks, that simple clothesline looked
exactly no, it worked there. I really liked it there, but that's because like I feel like that was like. Given the circumstance, I think it worked better.
Blue. Yeah,
I'd prefer you revert back to the spine buster for matches.
Yep.
But I thought this was, and like the post match, I think that was a perfectly fine little bit there. You still have like a decent while to All Out, so I think you can build this pretty nicely. And I would actually, like, depending on how they build this, I would probably be looking forward to it.
I'm pretty hyped for a Starks Hobbs match. I'm not gonna lie, especially with I don't know, just
could throw on a stipulation,
a decent story behind it. Yeah, it's good.
Like a street fight or something. That'd be kind of cool.
I'm in.
Or maybe you do the first match and then a street fight. Or you just do a street fight. You don't have to do multiple matches. You get Starks' win and then you just send him off to the races.
Yes.
Next we get a mirror promo. There's a bunch of stuff I didn't catch because like Malachi Black, I struggle with these.
Yes.
The way they go. So like if you want to check out the mirror promo, check it out because they're usually pretty good. This one was pretty good. Just if it was basically said like everyone redeems themselves, the Redeemer will too.
Oh, redeems themselves. I thought he said reveals themselves, but that makes more sense.
Exposes themselves.
Right.
This is a solid promo from Miro. Pretty short one. I didn't catch a lot because he tends to speak, but it was good. That when I'm not it's not because it wasn't great or wasn't painted. Like it's really hard to like I do respect people who can get these a little bit because I don't like. It's not like I really go back and try to.
No, you're doing it in the moment.
I usually borrow notes for someone, so like, they usually talk kind of weird. So
yeah, this was the standard Miro stuff. He's awesome. He really has his character nailed, and yeah, I liked it as always.
Agreed. Next we had Darby Allin promo, and he says he went to Tony Khan saying he needed to hire Brody King.
I like that
eats
personal
King alive.
Touch there. Yeah.
And Darby says King does need his respect and needs everything, and that is why he's trying to build his name off of Darby. He says he wants King to remember he asked for this match, and this hand is the last thing he'll see before he closes the coffin. And he wrote, "Coffin closes on Brody King."
Because he was tattooing his own hand during this promo.
That can't be an actual tattoo.
So that was pretty crazy.
There's no way it's an actual tattoo.
I mean, it's Darby Allin. I think there is a
There's
chance,
no way.
But we'll see.
There's no way. I thought it was so promo. I like them adding more backstory to this feud.
Me too.
I like
the
that.
whole like I'm the one that got you here. You're trying to make a name for yourself off of me, and that's not going to happen. No, I liked it too.
And it'll be a cool match. The match graphic, the promo graphic looks really cool.
And the tone of Darby's little vignettes are always cool, right? Just different.
Yeah, it's got like the dark look, and it's like it's got the Brody King with the face paint on.
Yep.
Like, the graphic is really cool. I hope Brody King wears face paint.
That match should be awesome too.
That'll be really cool. Yeah, that's next week.
Yeah.
That's cool. At Quake by the Lake.
That's it.
Coffin in the lake.
Maybe. Drown him.
Drown him in a coffin. Yes. And no, you put him in a body bag. Put the body bag in a coffin. Put the coffin in the river. The lake.
Coffin in a dumpster. Dumpster in the river. In the lake. You've got dumpsters. You paid for dumpsters. You may as well use them.
That's true.
Right? Got 2 of them at least kicking around.
Well, yeah, they only use one dumpster. They still have another dumpster.
Still good. And
Exactly.
the other one, the guns live in.
Exactly. The guns live in. Right beside the entrance stage.
Yep.
Next we have Christian Cage versus Matt Hardy.
How dare you? JR makes his entrance. Okay? How dare you, sir? Because he did the whole show last week, but now they're back to like the second hours, JR.
Did he? I don't even know.
Yeah, he was there from Jump last week. I noticed. But now he's back
Mox
to...
and Roosh was
anyway,
the overall.
I just felt like making fun of you. It is inconsequential completely. The less JR at this point we get. It's weird to say that because he is the best commentator of all time, in my opinion, but those days are well behind us.
Yeah.
So less of him is better for me. But anyway, sorry, carry on.
Better to reminisce.
It's the battle of the dudes older than me in this next match. Right? Both of them are, I believe, slightly older than I.
Matt Hardy is like wearing more of a tank top. I feel like when him and Jeff wear sleeveless shirts, it's usually like there's more like gap here, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like there's more like it's wide, like it's not cut off as much. Like it's not a full on tank top. You know what I mean? Like
they're both older than me. Matt's 47, Christian's 48. Boom. I've still got a chance.
Wow.
My debut's coming.
Yep.
Get ready.
So this is a match that
punch the match. So many punches in this.
I'll say this again later, but this is a match I didn't want to see and didn't need to see in 2021.
And it delivered.
I didn't want to see this in 2021. Here we are in 2022.
And you get it.
It's happening. A year later.
Punch.
Punchy punch.
Notables. Punch. 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 Punch.
Punchy.
Punch exchange. Punch and a punch.
And an elbow.
Right. Maybe. If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Sorry. Go ahead. I'm taking over your recap of this match.
No, I think that was pretty
thorough.
Match. TLDR or TLDA. That would be the match. It would just be punch.
Punch.
And it would be accurate.
It's over.
Hardy attacks Cage right away, hits him corner shoulder blocks to the gut. Then corner punches. Shocker.
No.
Before getting backed off by the ref. Matt Hardy does the delete thing with the turnbuckles. Love it.
Yep.
There's an alley-oop bomb from the corner by Hardy, which is like where Cage is like sitting in the corner. He pulls him up by his feet into kind of like a sit-up powerbomb position. I only know that because it's like when like person's seen in the corner, it's like one of the few options you have in 2K. So it's like almost everyone on the roster has that in their moveset.
Nice.
So it's just kind of annoying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I know the name. Cage hits a knee to Hardy's head against the steel stairs. Like he's just like charging the stairs, and he almost falls over the stairs because he's just like ramming his knee into his face. So
right.
That was kind of neat. Superplex by Hardy for 2, which is like I feel like that's like big spot for old guys.
That was a big spot here.
Because it's high enough that it's like pretty impactful, but it's also not like super high risk to the point where it's like they're gonna hurt themselves. It's the ultimate high risk spot if you're getting old.
I heard, and if you get really old, I heard that the big spot in the Ric Flair match was he took a suplex. That was it. And like that killed him. And then he was basically comatose after that, which is why I'm glad I didn't watch it.
Wow.
The reviews I heard for it were
why
like,
did they do that?
It was upsetting, tough to watch, disturbing. So I'm like, I'm glad I made the decision not to watch that. I didn't want to watch it because Ric Flair's a dirtbag, and
Who thought that whole thing was a good idea?
Anyway,
not the card. The card looked pretty good. Like
it.
Labeling it the Ric Flair's last match. Who thought that was good? Like, why not make this like just like a StarCast card and then?
So my goal was I wasn't gonna pay for it, and I wasn't gonna watch Ric Flair's match. I accomplished.
I almost want to watch that because I hate myself, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It almost sounds too bad.
Yeah.
There's a side fact by Hardy for 2, which I'm as surprised as you are that Cage kicked out of that. Side effect on the apron by Hardy. Hardy looks at an elbow drop from the apron to the timekeeper's table. He moved to ringside. Cage into the way. Hardy crashes through the table. Back in the ring, Cage runs with the kill switch. Yay! It's over.
Yeah.
Cage goes for a concerto on Hardy. After the match, Luchasaurus comes out to provide distraction. Jungle Boy comes from behind, takes a chair. Cage runs away.
Yeah, this was a super basic offense delivered at a very deliberate pace.
Reminds me a bit of a Jericho MJF.
Couple of interesting spots and signature moves. The end wasn't as bad as the beginning. The crowd seemed to lose energy, and then gained it back, I guess, by the end. The result of this, I think, was pretty obvious who was going to win. It didn't do much for me, you can probably tell. I thought Jungle Boy got a pretty good reaction this week. And again, it's just more of a vehicle to show that Jungle Boy has some edge to him and is aggressive and angry, etc., etc. But the match itself was pretty boring. Thoughts?
Could have had a better match, I guess.
Yeah.
Cage versus Jeff Hardy.
This was fine, I guess.
I mean, Jeff Hardy's pretty non-existent now, so that's pretty good.
But it's 2022, and I'm watching Christian Cage and Matt Hardy when we have a bloated roster full of young talent. But I say that too much, so I won't say it here.
Takeshita should have been here.
Right.
Because he's got a big match coming up. Yes, they gave him a win on Rampage over Ryan Nemeth, which is cool. But why not give him a win on Dynamite against someone not Ryan Nemeth?
I don't
know. Someone.
Good one. You are a wrestling expert.
I don't know, like someone. What? He should have beaten Lethal or something. I don't know. Anywho, this match was fine, and I feel my ear buffering right now.
Your ear buffering? What does that mean?
Or like, I'm hearing like crackles from my ear. Like maybe it's starting to unplug.
Probably.
Of course, right before I'm gonna swim today. Stupid ear. Honestly, sorry to go off a bit. As long as my ear is fine by the school year, I don't care, because that's when I'm gonna have my earbuds in a crap ton. It's still going. It's so weird. I'm sorry, folks. But like, it's like for this, don't know. Like every time after I'm swimming, like one of my ears, it's still going.
Just started this month.
It's just like plugging,
basically.
like like sometimes like plug for a while. It's usually only one ear, which like I don't know if anyone's like knows what I'm talking about. Like let us know, because honestly, I'd love to see if anyone else is in the same boat. Like usually only one of mine lasts a bit, so then it's like when you're listening to music, like it's really like uneven, like pretty much all the music comes out of my left ear.
Annoying.
It's really oh my god, it's going okay. Anyway, I'll keep going. Sorry. This match was fine. It didn't suck. It just wasn't super interesting. It was very basic at times. Like it reminded me of what I didn't like about Jericho MJF. Remember when that got really basic?
Yes.
It's just like two older veterans going on, like playing it pretty safe the whole time. Not a lot of huge spots, hardly any. What I mean is like it's what you'd expect, and it wasn't much, but it was fine. Now I'm looking to watch in Dynamite in 2022. I said the same thing a year ago when they faced off, and here we are with this again.
Yep.
The post match wasn't really much to know. I'd just like to know Luchasaur's cool new heel theme and the black look
kept it all.
does not make sense anymore.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know why he's still like foreshadowing.
I guess it's darker Jungle Boy and darker Luchasaurus.
Maybe it's a double ruse.
Yeah, they're tweeners.
No, it's like Luchasaurus is actually still working with Cage. It's just a double ruse. He
could be.
He's duping us. He's secretly the biggest tactical genius in AEW.
That's right.
He's like...
Well, he's been around for thousands of years.
Exactly.
He's seen it all.
He's like Tony Stark and Bruce Banner. Boom. Or Tech from the Bad Batch.
Sure.
I don't like Tech. He's so useless. I like Crosshair. Crosshair's my favorite.
Okay, focus, man.
Hancock doesn't like Crosshair, and I don't appreciate
here?
that. Next we got a Daniel Garcia interview. Garcia says it wasn't just a big win last week. It was the biggest in AEW history. My ear's still going. And he says he's the Dragon Slayer now. Cute t-shirt, I feel like. And the greatest technical sports entertainer of all time. He says when Danielson comes back, he has his number and he will slay the dragon again. Another more serious promo from Garcia I liked again. It was pretty good. Only knock is that stupid technical sports entertainment. Like, get rid of that. That is so annoying. I hate it. It's so stupid.
I think they had an idea for a faction, and they don't like when it's convenient.
Because they lumped in 2.0, so they wanted Garcia with them, I guess.
When it's convenient, he's a sports entertainer, but then you watch his matches, he's super technical, and he'll cut promos about being a technician. Like, it doesn't work. I don't.
Right. Yeah, and it's weird.
I also think his delivery is a lot better. I kind of like him.
He's not going like...
Everything he said from a heel perspective here kind of made sense, right? So I would watch a rematch between the two as well. So if that's where this is going, great. But yes, he does not fit that whole faction. It's just that was their reason for existing. But now, and 2.0 is definitely very sports entertainment.
No, I think they fit
Jericho
the billing
can
very
be as well.
Hager, I guess, because like he's not very wrestler.
But he's a shoot fighter, so you know what I mean?
Yeah, but we the people.
But anyways, so yeah, I'm Garcia is definitely growing on me for sure.
There's highlights of Pac's Atlantic title defense because he's still absent.
Which I watched. Really long match. Pretty good though.
Nice.
And they were openly acknowledging Kip Sabian at ringside, maybe under the box on his head, right? So that seems to be an official story now. That
Mark my words. If we get Pac versus Kip Sabian, I will watch that.
well, yeah, we watch everything AEW, so of course you will, unless
No,
it was
but,
on
like,
Rampage or something.
If it's on Dark or Rampage,
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, okay.
They flew Kip Sabian out there, or it's a double.
Yeah, it could be anyone. It's just someone under a box that's not super big. So could be Kip Sabian, could be.
I know it's Kip
anybody.
Sabian. I'm just saying, like they could be
Did they
continuing
actually
the
send
gimmick.
him?
They didn't. They might not have actually sent him there.
Right.
I know it's Kip Sabian doing the thing.
Right.
Underrated, over it.
Yep.
Next we get an Ethan Page promo. What?
We do.
He says he came up to ask a question. He just shouts, "Why?" He says, "Why the hell isn't he on TV every week? Why doesn't he have an action figure?" Shouts, "Why?" Very angrily. I agree. I would very much enjoy an Ethan Page action figure. AEW, please give me my Ethan Page action figure.
Mhm.
He's Canadian. I would very much enjoy an Ethan Page action figure.
Right.
Perhaps with Scorpio Sky. Maybe not.
It doesn't
I
sound
don't
like
want Dan Lambert. I would just like an Ethan Page.
I don't
Thank
think you
you
need
very
any
much.
to worry about any of that anymore by the looks of this segment.
I
right
like
here.
Men of the Year. Their theme was
they're
so
dead.
good. When I get an Ethan Page action figure, I'm gonna make a Men of the Year just to use that theme song
Focus.
because I like that theme song a lot.
You do. Focus.
It's my favorite.
Okay, keep going, man. We're at 2 hours
He
now.
says sweet.
Yeah.
He says he deserves better and asks why would they cheer now because he's getting cheered a bit. He says they aren't lining for his shirts when they're on sale. They're first in line for Cassidy or Punk, and we'll listen to Kingston go on about whatever. But if you and Paige no, and then Paige realizes Stokely Hathaway has been standing there.
Yeah.
And he whispers something to Paige. He hands Paige his business card, and they walk up the ramp together. Short promo from Paige, I thought, but this was great.
He's
It
awesome.
came out completely out of the blue, but I like it. Angry Paige promos are fantastic.
They
He was
are.
super fired up here. Kind of had a point. And it's a fairly simple point, but I think it was done really well. I think it made sense. Also liked how he's going off, just like he completely went off, like he was just like screaming, which love it. Not noticing Hathaway was there at all, and then they had their little discussion or whatever, and it seems like Paige was going with Hathaway now, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, but my one issue is it's weird Paige is going from one mouthpiece manager
Does
to
not
another.
need one.
When
at
he's
all.
one of the best promos on the roster. Like, he does not need it at all. We'll see where this goes, however, because this could be interesting. Could be like Hathaway building a brand. Maybe he's got he manages a female faction, maybe manages a male faction. But this is good. Angry Ethan Page promos are the best. I'm just like, I like that this is direction for him, but I also like it's kind of a conflict for me because like he doesn't need like promo. Like, honestly, I just wish this was him and Sky doing this.
Yeah.
Because I think Men of the Year is a fantastic tag team.
I'm happy to see Paige branching out into singles, and I thought this promo was excellent too, right? Like, great intensity, taking shots at other wrestlers, taking shots at the fans for supporting other wrestlers when he hasn't gotten his shine
Right, it's
yet.
like he's getting like some cheers now because he's like fired up or whatever. But like then he's like, "Why the hell are you cheering me now?" Like I don't know. That was a cool touch.
And I'm cool with Hathaway branching out from just the baddies and maybe starting a male stable too, as long as his focus with Paige is what you're saying too, like promoting Paige and getting Paige opportunities, not speaking for him, right?
That's a good point.
as
I
his
actually I didn't think of that. They
As
could
his
work
marketing
it like
guy, and like this is the guy that's
that. Right, because he's not like always talking for
No.
Cargill. Sometimes
Right,
he is.
right.
Which, that's okay. I actually didn't think about that. That's a good point then.
So just basically, I'm going to raise your profile. I'm going to get you money matches. From that, I really like this idea. And
That's a good point.
I thought Paige nailed this promo. He's awesome on the mic. And that's why they need to find ways to use him, because he's great.
Maybe that's a good point. Maybe it is fine then. That's cool. Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Yep.
Next we get JAS or Jas or Anna JAS.
Oh my-
Menard says a week from now Jericho will be Le Champion again. First 2-time Le Champion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, that's right. There's no holes in that theory at all. That is airtight.
Airtight. Jay speaks again, and she says the same lines from last week, and I hate it again.
Yeah.
She says that she's in the toughest. She's Anna JAS.
Choke you out?
Yeah.
Didn't she
She'll
choke someone
choke
out?
anyone out. When they're choking against a random backstage worker. 2.0 were found here, nothing super notable. Angie was horrible, and I mean horrible. She was the worst. Seems all 3 of those lines, which I hate, are her new things, which sucks because it's really bad. She sucks. This is
She's
awful.
not believable.
Why is she in this faction? It doesn't make sense.
They're-
She sucks. She's awful. I hate it. She's bad.
They're forcing her to act, and she's not good at it, right? So
She
she's
can't act.
if
for
you just
crap.
start her out, and maybe that's what they did, it like just be kind of yourself, a little extension of yourself, maybe blah blah blah. But now
Is
they're
that the
like,
Dark Order thing,
you're
or, like-
playing a role, and she's really bad at it. And
she's really bad.
this
at
segment felt pointless to me, to be honest. Not a fan.
just to get her across, like it was really bad.
Yep.
She's
And this is my
really
concern.
bad.
Women's division here, they don't know what they're doing. Women's division in WWE stacked and maybe know what they're doing,
maybe
right? So this could be a turning point. We'll see.
Mhm. Not in the war, but
No, but in like one area, WWE may have an advantage.
the war. Next we get the Acclaim versus the Ass Boys
Mm-hmm.
in a dumpster match.
We do.
When's the last time we've seen a dumpster match? Last time I remember a dumpster match, 2017, Braun Strowman and Kalisto.
Sure. I didn't remember at all.
I remember because I think the week before Braun Strowman was like going on Rampage and he threw Kalisto in a dumpster. So yeah, there's that. And then I remember the finish was like Strowman was on the apron and then Kalisto dropkicked his leg, so he like fell in the dumpster
Right.
but like he was standing in the dumpster.
Right.
And even though Kalisto didn't close the dumpster, that counted as a win for Kalisto. And then Braun Strowman like lost it and probably did something.
Focus.
It's like do you remember that time when
History of Braun Strowman and Kalisto,
Do
everybody.
you remember that time when like Big Show faced Cody Rhodes in a tables match and he lost it by stepping through the table?
Yes.
It's kind of like that.
Yes.
Anyways, the Acclaim take out Billy Gunn with the trash can and send him in the dumpster. Take out the Ass Boys with the trash can too. Remember Austin?
There was one, he walked right into a pretty good
Yeah.
throwing of a trash
And then
can.
Caster hits his music and he does the rap. He references Vince. Gotta love it.
He did.
Kind of had to see that coming, but gotta love it. Acclaim tried to hit a tandem suplex. I wrote Acclaim tried to hit a tandem suplex to Bowens. Ass Boys try to hit a tandem suplex to Bowens on some trash cans, but Bowens turns into a double suplex on the outside floor. Colton knocks Bowens, so he's draping outside a dumpster at ringside, and Austin just rams him repeatedly with the lid, and so Bowens gets powerbombed in the dumpster. Obviously, there's something in there, just like for like a pad. And Caster gets thrown in too. But they stop the closings. That's kind of like a near fall
Mhm.
for a dumpster match.
Because we thought it was going to end that quickly and with the Guns winning. So
Yes.
it wasn't a super believable spot
No.
for me.
But you gotta have like one of those.
Yeah,
at
of
least.
course you do.
Austin throws Bowens off the top of the dumpster onto some trash cans.
Yeah, that looked
That
cool.
looked pretty cool.
Yeah, it did.
Because dumpster's got decent height. Colton suplexes Caster on the steel grating that's beside the entrance ramp. Also kind of cool.
Yep.
Caster tosses Austin from the top of the entrance tunnel in the dumpster. And it's funny. You can kind of see some packaging pellets come out, or peanuts or whatever.
Yeah, the packing peanuts.
Yeah, packing peanuts. I haven't seen packing peanuts in a while.
Focus.
And then Caster hits a mic drop from the top of the tunnel to Colton through a table, which
Looked
that was
cool
pretty
too.
cool
Yep,
actually.
it was.
And then the finish comes. Bowens tosses both of them into the dumpster. Or sorry, Colton in the dumpster. Austin's already in there still. And Acclaim close the dumpster, win the match. And they zip tie the dumpster. And after some difficulty,
A little bit of a battle line.
not as much as Conti with the lock though.
No.
So there's
No.
that. They push the dumpster off the side of the stage, a la New Age Outlaws.
Right.
So kind of comes back to bite Billy Gunn in a way. Even though
Exactly.
they should have put Billy Gunn in the dumpster too.
Yes. they
Sleeping with
should.
his kids.
So early on in this, one of my criticisms was there was a lot of conversation between Bowens and the Guns, just figuring out what they're going to be doing here. There's a lot of talk. This is not my general type of match. The crowd seemed into this, and it does help establish the Acclaimed as baby faces. I thought there were a couple cool spots, as you outlined, right? The elbow drop to finish was cool. Onto the trash cans was cool. But I don't know, this match was just okay for me. I've preferred other hardcore matches in AEW, and generally hardcore matches are not, or as in my notes, hard care matches are not my favorite. I really like the Acclaimed as an act, but I don't think this was one of their better outings. Like, we all knew what was going to happen here, and it happened. I don't know. It's not my type of match, so it was just okay for me, I guess.
I thought it was pretty solid. It was kind of fun for me, in my opinion. I thought there were some cool spots. I thought it was cool they had a bunch of trash cans because I like trash cans.
They're satisfying sound wise.
Exactly. And I love when like someone gets slammed on them, it just like bends perfectly. I don't know. Trash cans are the best.
Mm-hmm.
I think I kind of liked the matches. Like there wasn't. there was the one spot where the Guns tried to close it on them, but they only did that like once.
Yes.
Which I kind of appreciate because like it's never it's like the dumpster closing on your fall. It's like it's never like super like it always looks kind of dorky, I guess.
Because
So-
you know it's going to be some sort of spectacle to end it. So if it's anything short of that, you're like, it's not ending here. Like,
Right.
keep
Yeah.
I'd rather
Mhm.
you keep wrestling than do
Mhm.
this. Yeah.
And so most of it, like the rest of it, was left to spot, which I think was good. And I thought they did some cool stuff. The finish was solid too. So, and I like the Acclaim did the thing that New Jailers did after that was kind of nice. So I kind of like this. It was one of my preferred matches on the show.
Nice.
Probably
You liked
after
it
the
more than
women's
I did.
match.
Yeah.
Um,
Fair.
Next we get a Claudio Takeshita package for Battle of Belts 3.
Yep.
I'd rather spell Konosuke Takeshita than Claudio Castagnoli,
Mm-hmm.
even though
I've just stuck to Claudio since pretty much
me
day
too.
one.
Even though Takeshita's full name is undoubtedly longer, it's I know how to spell
Something
it.
about that Castagnoli that is.
It's so annoying. Like it's like
Excuse
it's so easy to get wrong is the thing.
Yes.
Like and it's more than likely to get wrong. Anyway.
Sudden choking on nothing. Interesting. I'm alive though.
Mike Dust.
Maybe.
Claudio mentions that this is Takeshi's first title shot in North America. Takeshi says he's been champion in Japan many times. Wouldn't surprise me. He's awesome.
He has.
Claudio says he wants Takeshi to bring all that fighting spirit. He will, because in Blackpool Comic Club they say step up or get stepped on. Takeshi says he will win his first big match in EW. I wish.
Very excited about this.
Claudio says it will be a first successful defense, and he is the Ring of Honor World Champion. I thought it was a solid promo. I think the first time I've heard Takeshi speak is interesting. He didn't sound the best, but honestly, like
He's
considering
fine.
it's not his first language, it sounds perfectly fine.
Yep.
I thought Claudio cut a solid promo. They didn't even need to do this. I'm super excited for this match.
I am I am too, and I like that it's the simple like it's a guy in his first defense of a major title, right? Yes, he had Intercontinental, blah blah blah, but this is his first like championship
U.S. title
of a
He only held
company.
U.S. title and tag title.
So he's champion of a whole company now, and he is looking to defend that. And then you've got a challenger who's looking to get his first title in North America. So like really simple story, which is what I like. So
Two
and the
dudes I
match
like a lot.
like Takeshita has not had a match that I haven't at least really really liked. Claudio is awesome. So this match should be
I'm super
sweet.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so we get some out times. I'm just noting because there was some interesting stuff. So Battle of the Belts 3, the updated card is we are new Claudia. I forgot the O at the end. So Claudio versus Claudio Castagnoli versus Konosuke Takeshita ROH title. So that's
Yes, please.
that is fantastic. Wardlow versus Jay Lethal TNT title is confirmed.
Sure, why not?
And then they tend to have 3 title matches. So to finalize the card or to round out the card.
This one,
sorry.
women's, right?
Thunder Rosa versus Jamie Hayter for the women's title.
Oh yeah, sorry. Why did I think Ruby Riott was involved somewhere?
That's okay, I guess. Like
yeah,
I'm
okay with
particularly
that.
excited,
We'll
but-
see.
Next week, so obviously the coffee match was already announced. I'm not here to talk about that, so that's pretty cool. Obviously we'll get Mox Jericho, not to spoil the main event. But a new one that was announced that was pretty cool is Lucha Bros versus Roosh and Andrade Tornado tag match next week.
That should be
So
amazing.
that is pretty awesome.
I'm as hyped for that as anything, to be honest.
Haven't seen Lucha Bros in a while, so that's pretty cool.
That match should be crazy.
That'll be awesome, and no tagging.
And it's Tornado, so it should be extra. Like
Exactly.
you don't have to worry about you don't have to suspend your disbelief of the refs doing their job, right?
He doesn't really have to do his job other than count stuff.
That's right. Do what you
I
want.
could see it like even though it's not supposed to be no DQ. Roosh is there, so
Right. Yeah.
Next we go to our main event: Wheeler Yuta, ROH Pure Champion, versus Chris Jericho. Winner faces Mox for the AEW World Title next week. Okay, tell them the thing you were telling me about the Pure Title with like if Jericho wins here.
Oh, the like lineal championship, right? So that some people will keep track of like technically,
Right.
if you follow who beat who, Jericho would be the Pure, and then whoever beats Jericho next would then have
So
it.
Mox would be like double champion next week.
There are people that keep track of that sort of thing because
That's funny.
right, like he is a champion and he lost to a person, so technically, well, not
like
technically, but
if it's the title is on the line, I guess.
you're just following it truly on who beat who. Yes, regardless of whether it's a title shot or not.
Does that apply to the tag matches?
I think people do that. Yeah.
Say Yuta loses in a tag match, does that apply?
Oh no, I don't think so. I don't think you lose your singles title in a tag match, even in the linear whatever style.
Notables: 2.0 got ejected for some interference, and Claudio was also at ringside, just like for support. So he leaves also because obviously now he doesn't really need to do anything. Yuta looks for a top rope dive, but Jericho hits the ropes, crotches Yuta. Diving clothesline by Yuta post commercial break. Slap fight. Yuta does the continuous German suplexes. Then 3 consecutive suicide dives by Yuta. Then diving crossbody back in the ring for 2. He does a regal stretch submission. Jericho uses the bat as a distraction and then hits a low blow. Yuta avoids a Judas effect, countering into the seatbelt pin for 2. And Jericho submits Yuta the Lion Tamer, the real one.
Looked good, yeah. Missed
After
that
the
move.
match, he continues the hold until Mox makes his way to the ring. Jericho runs off. There's a promo after, but I didn't really catch it. Not important.
No. I thought this ended up being an enjoyable main event. Not quite top tier yet because I don't think Yuta's quite at that level, but still a really entertaining match. Jericho gave Yuta a lot in this. I thought Yuta looked good. A lot of varied offense, and his in-match intensity is pretty good. I think, honestly, it's a compliment, too, that it took the Lion Tamer to beat him, and I thought the Lion Tamer looked
a pretty
good.
Sweet submission. I think it was like 2016. Remember, he hit on like Neville.
Yep.
And it looked insane because
Neville
great. Is
he had to give it up because there were too many big guys in WWE he couldn't slap it on.
Right.
The problem. As well, the Lion Tamer's a nod to Moxley asking for Lionheart in their match, right? So this is Jericho being like, I'm starting to bring Lionheart back a little bit.
And it's cooler.
I feel like there was a solid story to this match, and I think the story is you have a young guy with loads of talent and energy sort of being outsmarted by the cagey veteran who knows how to work efficient and pull out a win, right? Despite the youthful energy of his opponent. So
it's a little cheating.
My comparison, is when like you have a team of 45-year-old softball players and they end up, because I've been in lots of beer league softball, right? Where like I was on a team with former students of mine in their early 20s. So I was the old guy and they're just like, we're just going to win because we're young and athletic and we're going to hit home runs and then we lose to like teams of middle-aged guys because they just play smarter, right? They're not taking the risks. They are like aware of their own limitations and abilities. So they're not trying to, like, the young guys I was playing with
smarter, not harder,
are trying to take extra bases and trying to throw out everyone on every base instead of playing smart. So I feel like that's what this was. Jericho going, sure, kid, maybe you've got more talent and more energy, but I'm a seasoned veteran. I still find a way to win. So I thought that was cool. I liked the main event quite a bit. More than I thought I would. I was a bit nervous about Jericho, but I liked it.
It was solid. Nothing really wrong with it. Didn't feel like much of a main event to me, though. Solid match all around, don't get me wrong. Just lacking that main event quality.
Yeah, that's fair.
I might put the dumpster match here instead. Like, that, to me, is more of an opener match at that. But, like, again, that would work a little better for me. I saw you got pretty solid showing. I think you made a good point there. And then Jericho looked fine. Coolly won with actual line tamer. That's a really sweet move. Looking at the adhesive.
Yes. I'm noticing it all behind you. We're down to 3 panels left of 18 of my sound treatment. So I'm going to go with glue. I'm going to try next. Yeah.
Brain.
That's what I think I'm going to do.
All right. Thoughts on this show as a whole?
I thought it was a pretty good episode overall. I liked the opening Cassidy Lethal match. I liked the women's tag. I liked the Paige promo. I liked the Undisputed Elite segment. And I liked the main event. So that's a lot of stuff that I liked, right? The weaknesses for me, I didn't love the dumpster match and I didn't love the Hardy cage match. So I don't think it's quite as strong as last week, but pretty close, and still a really,
last week was a really good show,
enjoyable show. A B+ for me this week. I said it earlier. It feels like Dynamite was in a bit of a lull because they were trying to build for the ROH pay-per-view and sort of neglecting.
I think since Fyter Fest, it's been better.
Kind of backburnering some other stuff I care about more. So now they're back on track, focusing on important AEW storylines, and I think doing a really good job. So it was a B+ for me.
Remember the first Fyter Fest being my favorite because it had Takeshita and then the tag 3-way.
Right. So not quite an A show like it's been, but a pretty darn close for me. What about you?
So I think the opener was pretty solid. I think the women's tag match was the best match on the show.
It was good.
Hobbs got a solid squash. Cage Hardy, meh. I kind of liked the dumpster match. I thought that was pretty fun. And the main event was pretty solid, so I think generally like the in-ring action was pretty solid. I think the Undisputed Elite promo was really great. I like that segment all around. Mox, another great promo.
You like Paige promo? You like the Paige promo?
Ethan Page promo, fantastic.
Yep.
Darby Allin had a nice little bit.
Yes.
Garcia was solid too. And the Ring of Honor package with Takeshita and Claudia, that was pretty solid. So I think all around pretty good show, not like an A range, but I think it was pretty good. So B+ for sure.
We agree. All right, well, I guess that's going to bring us to our last segment this week, right? Because you said there's no figuring updates.
Nope.
So it's our final segment and our first time debuting this segment that I think we're going to do going forward. And that's where we talk about what we liked and didn't like from any other wrestling that we watched. And that is what we're going to call High Spots and Rest Holds. All right, so I think I consumed more wrestling than you this week, so I'll start it with a couple maybe, and then you can sneak in. Because the first thing I watched, I told you almost all of, is Ric Flair's last match pay-per-view. So I got a few high spots and a rest hold, I think, from there. So high spots are obviously things we enjoyed that we checked out in wrestling this week, and rest holds are things we did not. So my first high spot, the best match on this show for me was Bandito, Laredo Kid, Rey Fenix, and Taurus in a four-way match. It was fantastic. Lucha rules, nonstop action. I like everyone in this match. A few highlights, a lot of Bandito stuff it seems I got. Bandito hit his top rope fall-away moonsault slam onto two other people on the floor. We had a one-arm gorilla press by Bandito to Laredo Kid. A ridiculous around the world head scissors like 5 times around the world probably by Bandito. Avalanche gorilla press by Bandito to Taurus. Eventually Phoenix hit the fear factor to Taurus to win this match. Just fantastic action in this one. Everyone looked good. Taurus is so much better than he gets to show on Impact. And if I were AEW, I'd be in a hurry to sign Bandito. He is awesome, although I then read I think he has signed with Impact, which is kind of interesting. Thoroughly entertaining 12-minute four-man match I would recommend people check out. A rest hold from that show as well. I think I told you, Jack. Killer Cross versus Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Cross, you say?
Yeah, just a really basic plotting. 5 minutes is all they got. Big man match that never really got going and is just bland. Commentary spent so much time talking about what a Killer Cross is, no pun intended, and like, oh, he's trained in all these MMA disciplines, right? Blah, 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 blah. And then he looks ordinary. Like, his stuff just looks ordinary. You look at him, and he should be something. He's big. He's muscular. He's intimidating.
He's more intimidating without hair.
He's just not, though, right? So he ends up winning a disappointing match with that forearm to the back of the neck that we don't really like. Forgettable match, for sure.
Can I bring in a related thing?
Of course.
My only rest hold is Cross is back on SmackDown.
There is a rest hold from main roster.
Yeah.
Yes. So I watched it. He
beat down McIntyre, then like kind of stared at Reigns.
Right. So the Bloodline are in the ring cutting a promo. McIntyre comes out to yip at Reigns. Cross's music hits. He's got hair now. He attacks Drew McIntyre. Blah blah blah. So he's there. And and Scarlett's with him. She brought.
I am praying to God he does not win any titles. I genuinely fear he wins a title.
He might. They certainly brought him out here as a star.
I don't think he will, but I genuinely fear that he will because I hated that. We didn't like that run last year.
Scarlett was with him, and I think his theme is going back to what it was in NXT.
His theme was always the same.
Oh, was it the same?
It's just the entrance was different.
So she brought the hourglass, put it in the ring, flipped it over so it started like the time is running out for Roman Reigns.
I hope there's a way he maybe he's feuding with McIntyre.
And remember, we didn't talk about it in news, but I was telling you I was reading a thing about that apparently Raw is annoyed that they do not have a major championship. Yeah. So the thought is he takes one. Somebody takes one of them from Roman.
I'm really afraid he wins a title.
Triple H seems to like him, right?
I really
He's the
don't
one
like
thing
him.
we don't agree with Triple H, basically.
I know you don't like. I really don't like him. They did something good on SmackDown 2, which I'll get to after you're done that show. But I'm genuinely afraid he wins the title, and I don't want him to. I really don't like him. That NXT run, it bogged down the main event for a long time.
I agree.
And just when we were freed, that's when 2.0 hit. So we never really got a chance to since Balor, nothing really.
I agree. Another high spot for me from the same show was Josh Alexander, Jacob Fatu. Awesome slugfest. Fatu showcased a ton of moonsaults and whole bunch of things. I've had Fosbury flop, and he's a 300-pound guy. So great match. Unfortunately, got interrupted by Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, Mark Sterling running in, which was an odd combination of people. But
I guess Impact.
Yeah, so kind of a no finish. 10 minutes into this one. So Sterling basically gets snapped in half with a C4 spike, and then DDP ran in from the crowd to hit a diamond cutter on Sterling. So that was fantastic match that sort of got cut off. Another rest hold from that show for me was the Gresham, Nick Wayne, Angels Takeshita match, only because
Which doesn't sound like it would be on paper.
it was just given 5 minutes. That's my
Yeah.
complaint, right? So other than that, decent action, but way too short. Anything else you had?
So some high spots from Raw. I think Rollins had a promo and he said he's coming for Reigns. So
Right.
there's hope again.
Yes, that would
Trips.
be great.
Yeah,
If
even if
he's
he takes
Trips
one
guy.
title.
Yeah.
Which I wish they would keep the titles unified because they should only have one world title. But
Right.
anyways, that's something. And then Ciampa also he won a triple threat, which was a couple people. I don't remember who he faced.
Yeah.
And then he also beat AJ Styles later on, so he'll face Lashley for the U.S. title next week. So that's kind of
Oh, cool.
that's something.
Yeah.
At least, and then one more high spot was there's a women's gauntlet on SmackDown
Yeah.
for winner faces
And-
Liv at the UK show, and Shayna Baszler won, so her first like title shot in a long time.
We love
so
Baszler. She should be a killer.
This is maybe finally the
Yes.
Baszler win I have prophesized.
Right.
And yeah, like so I did say in the SummerSlam predictions that I think she'll be next in line. So I think she's gonna kill Liv at Clash at the Castle. How does Liv not?
I would
How does
hope
Liv
so.
escape again?
Well, I think maybe that's becoming her gimmick, is she fights people who are really fighters and beats them anyways.
I don't know. I think Trips
But-
is smart. Like I don't know why you'd put Baszler in this and then just kill it off again. I feel like he'd at least I don't know. I feel like Baszler's gonna kill her.
Yeah, could be. I'll go quickly because people just showed up at our door to put you behind the curtain here that we didn't think were coming. But
Yeah, that kind of throws.
so I'm going to
things
fly
into
through my
disarray.
last few, but that's okay. There wasn't much left anyway. So People versus GCW, I watched a little bit. High spot for me was the Extreme title scramble. I think it opened the show. Cole Radrick, AJ Gray, Shane Mercer, Axton Ray, Grim Reefer, who like smokes joints while he wrestles, is kind of an interesting gimmick, and Marco Stunt. Marco's doing like a little show thing where he's like wearing a big show singlet and sort of mimics his mannerisms and stuff.
Nice.
But anyways, action all over the place. At one point, Marco Stunt got thrown into the crowd. Radrick actually ends up winning an 8-minute car crash, I thought, by hitting an elevated pedigree to Marco Stunt. Really fun match. My second time seeing Radrick, but I've been really impressed. He looks pretty generic, but he can go. Grim Reefer had some cool spots as well. Shane Mercer is like a really jacked redheaded guy. I don't know, but he did some crazy power spots and a surprising fall away moonsault slam from the top. So I'd like to see more of him. There wasn't really anything extreme about this match, which was surprising because it is GCW and it was their extreme title scramble. But anyways, quickly to end with 3 rest holds from NXT.
Shocker.
Mandy Rose versus Saray. Non-title match, sloppy, 5 minutes, had no heat to it. Not sure why they're still doing this Mandy Rose experiment. Need to get this. There's nothing more to her than I'm hot and mean, right? That's all she is, and the matches haven't been great, so time for a change. Rest hold, another one you saw, Gibson and Drake as Joe Gacy's lackeys.
Oh, it's
So bad. I
brutal.
finally got to see them in their
It
new roles.
hurt my soul.
It's terrible. They look and sound worse than what they were before, and the frustration is they were interesting and good
They were awesome.
and had some heat. So
it hurt me.
this gimmick changes several steps back, right? Although the guy screaming Gacy likes pineapple on pizza was pretty funny when he came out. And finally, my last rest hold is that D'Angelo, what's his name? Tony D'Angelo and
D'Angelo
Escobar,
De Niro.
that feud is still going on. I stopped watching
Just
NXT
reignited.
months ago, and it had been going on for months before that. So I don't understand why this is going on. I feel bad for Escobar. I'm just hoping that Triple H rescues him and calls him up. So yeah, I watched NXT, and those were mostly rest holds, nothing super
And you
strong.
definitely didn't regret it at all.
No high spots for me. But anyways, I think that's going to bring us to the end because we got to get upstairs and entertain our guests. So thanks so much.
Not entertaining.
So thanks so much for hanging out with us for episode 107. We appreciate any time you spend listening to us talk about wrestling. We will be back next week for episode 108. Love to hear from you, how you feel about the high spots and rest holds segment that I think we're going to continue doing next week. So hopefully we will see you all back here next Saturday. And until then, take care.